Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Bench podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
So just finished watching the Super Bowl. It was a instant classic, right? With the Chiefs winning.
Instant
Uh,
classic, but it went too darn late, man. Now we have to start
I
our
know.
podcast at midnight.
But there are three tournaments this week. We got a pod, right? There's no
Yeah,
choice.
there's no choice. There's no
There's no
choice.
choice, right? So it's going to be a late night, but let's get right into it. Because it's so late, we're just going to go right into
Yep.
previewing, and we'll do some recap next week when there's no Super Bowl. So, so let's get right into it. Let me share my screen here. Looking up Jesper de Jong, who's playing Milos Raonic.
Yeah.
Let's start in Rotterdam. It's the first ATP 500 of the year. So we got the return of Jannik Sinner, first tournament since becoming Grand Slam champion. He'll play again, who he played in first round of Australian Open.
There's so many rematches. It's
There has been
really
a lot.
weird. And
Gaston and Shapovalov played 3 weeks in a row.
it's weird.
Got Shapovalov against Monfils.
Yep.
Uh,
That's a fun match, actually. Like that's like a weird goof match. I have no idea what's gonna happen in that match. It's like one of the most high variance matches you'll ever find, but I think it's an interesting
yeah.
match.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Monfils has had a lot of success in Rotterdam. I think he's won this tournament twice.
He's a two-time champ and a three-time finalist.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I didn't know three-time finalist.
Well, he lost once in the finals. He's gone 2-1 in finals.
Okay. Then Raonic will play Jesper de Jong, and then Koric will play Bublik, who
Another
we
rematch.
saw in Montpellier. Well, that was the final, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what catches your eye in this quarter?
So I think VDZ could give Sinner, like, I don't think Sinner's gonna lose, but I think VDZ could give Sinner a match. Um Otherwise, I mean, Bublik can give anybody a match, but does he want to be here? I doubt it, but maybe. Yeah, I mean, honestly, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, he
Is
just
the
won a
court
title
too
2 weeks ago. He's
slow?
got a bunch of titles. He's got like, I mean, he's got not a bunch. Well, does he have how many titles does he have in the past? 3 titles in the past year or two? Bublik.
Three. I remember
He's
he
got
beat Zverev.
what?
He beats Zverev in the final, and then
Yeah,
he
he's
won
got Halle
Halle.
and he got Montpellier. What's the third one? I think you're right. I think he does have a third. I just can't remember it. Yeah, he does fees. He beat fees
Antwerp.
in Antwerp. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
So he's got three in the
Oh, and he won
past.
Montpellier in 22 as well.
Yeah. But
So,
my
yeah.
point is he's got 3 titles. Nothing, I mean, not much to defend until June. I don't know. I can't see him.
Well,
I can't, and this is a not super slow, but it's one of the slower indoor,
it
usually
is.
it's one of the slower indoor tournaments. I yeah, I can't get too excited about Bublik this week. I don't this does not feel like a random Bublik week to me.
It
Um
doesn't. I mean, in the last 2 years, it's been 71.4% won on first serve, 78.9% service holds, zero point 0.5 aces per game, and 0.19 tie breaks per set. So that is on the slower side, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's slow. It's slow. It's
yeah,
yeah.
slowest
It's
indoor
known for
tournament
being a
ever been.
slower hardcore. From what I've heard, and I mean, I don't go to these tournaments, so like I've never been to this tournament, but I've heard that the non-main court plays a little quicker,
Okay.
and that the main, which you see at a lot of these indoor tournaments, so it's not really surprising that the main court usually plays a little slower. But and I think they also use like a ball. I can't remember I think they might use a slower ball too. I can't remember. But anyways,
Hmm.
um yeah, regardless of all, the tournament plays a little slower. I mean, look, it's a very interesting quarter. There's a lot of fun dudes in this quarter. Like, it's not the best. It's not. I mean, I don't know if it's a good draw or not for Sinner. Like, it's like depends on if these guys show up, and what version these guys shows up.
Hmm. Well, let's see if we got any quarter prices here. So
We
Sinner is
do.
minus
Look at that.
225. Bublik is plus 600. Korich is plus 800. Shapo plus 850. I mean, there's nothing here. I mean,
There's nothing I can get excited about. Sinner, I can't get really into Sinner winning a quarter at minus 225.
no.
It's just too long for me. Because the guy won 3 matches, so no thanks. But
I mean,
and
I'd like it at
everybody
minus
else.
180 or minus 190. I mean, 225.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think he's. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not. But I
Yeah.
get why. But honestly, it's just like Monfils took a set off a Sinner recently. VDZ gave Sinner a pretty good match in Australian Open. He didn't win a set even, but it was like moderately competitive sets.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, if it's a random Bublik week, Bublik is here. Korich has talent. Korich is here. Like, this is a pretty tough quarter. It's a
I
good
mean,
draw overall. This is a pretty tough quarter, so I
if
can't get. But
Korich gets there, that means he's playing well. Like he has to get through the first round, right? For me to like kind of trust him in a
yeah,
way.
I mean, the problem is like I mean, I hate it when you have these top guys in these draws because like usually their price isn't good enough to bet, and then it makes everyone else basically unbettable as well.
Yeah. All right. So nothing there. Second quarter, we got Hubie Hurkacz against Yuri Lehechka. First round match. That's a good first round match. Griekspoor against Musetti. Fokina against Struff. And Ruusuvuori against the Marseille champion, Ugo Humbert.
Yeah,
I think this is a pretty stacked quarter as well. Like,
it's kind of similar, honestly, to the first quarter. Um, I mean, Hubie's always tough. Although he hasn't done very well in this tournament. I don't know if he's ever won back-to-back matches here. I
it's
think he's like
because it's
four.
too slow. He doesn't
Yeah.
have enough bite on the serve. Um,
Well, he's too passive otherwise, right? That's really more the
right,
problem. Like the serve doesn't bail him out enough.
right.
Um, Greeksport, I mean, Greeksport is at home, could be a good tournament for him. I think he made quarters or semis here last year, and I think he gave Sinner a pretty
Yeah,
good
but his
match. Seven
form
six
was
seven
way
five.
better. With his form was way better going into last year. This going into this tournament last year than it is this
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know if his form is that bad. Has he played since the Australian Open?
question.
I don't think so. Oh, he played Davis Cup and didn't look great there. I remember that. He played 4 tiebreaks in Davis Cup, didn't look great, but Davis Cup's always
Hmm.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, he did have come from behind wins at the Australian Open.
I mean, he
Did
beat Seth
win
Fuelin
against,
and Fees. I know, like, it's easy to get angry about that Kazoo match, but like he was just gassed out, I think, because that was just a no-show.
it's just his return game is so bad. Like that's the
I
problem.
know. I know.
And then on slow courts when like guys might have some opportunities to break, I think it might be problematic. That being said, I do like him against Musetti in the first round match, but like getting any further is just gonna be rough. Like he's even breaking at a lower clip this year than he was last year, and he was breaking only 15% of the time last year, and that was a great year for him. Like this year, he's breaking 12.8% of the time. Like that's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible.
And his serve points
It
won,
yeah.
return points won, like his serve points won are down as well. So it's like it's just really bad.
Yeah, it's not good. I agree.
I can't back him like to do well here or win a quarter. Like it's just I'd probably lay games with Hubie if it comes to that, to be honest.
Okay.
But that being said, I do like him against Musetti. That's well, we'll get into that match later, but I do. Um,
And his bottom four guys are just who knows, man. Like really, who knows like what form of each of these guys. Like Foki, you just never know what Foki's gonna show up indoors. Ruusuvuori and Humbert, same thing. And Struff, the same thing. All four of these guys, honestly.
I'm probably gonna back on Bear here. I actually like him to win the quarter. What price do I get here? Plus 350?
I've got no interest in that. I think Humbert is a much better player on when he's in France at home. I think he gets a good boost out of the crowd. And I
I
think
don't
it's
know about that. I think he's just in good form. Like I just think he's just playing good tennis. Like
I
maybe
think
a
both can be
little
true,
boost, but
right? Like Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
not.
reading too much into the home crowd narrative. I just think he's playing really well. And I think these slow courts are actually helpful for him in a way.
Don't know about that. I
No.
mean, I don't think so. I don't know if he's the best. Like, because I feel like the big advantage he has is that serve. Like he's got a really good serve, especially the wide serve. I don't know. I
Yeah, but
don't.
it's more spin than pace. And then like if he can get the player off the court, like I think he can work the ball well enough on a relatively slow court.
Yeah, what's Humbert done here in the past?
Good question. Now, how much do you read into the narrative like, oh, he won a tournament last week? Like, is he gonna be fatigued or is he gonna be
Depends on the player.
what do you think about it with Humbert? Like,
I thought I had looked this up and trying to look up when he's made finals. So I think it's hard to say with Humbert because like we haven't seen him actually come back and play a tournament the next week. So he did win the Cagliari Challenger
mhm.
earlier this year, back in May, and then he lost to Ruusuvuori coming out the first round of the next tournament. Granted, that was on clay, which isn't his best surface. Um, Made the finals of Pau Challenger, and then he came over to Indian Wells and actually won 2 matches. That's pretty impressive. So I don't think it's terrible for him, but I don't think it's good either. Like I also think that was a big mental effort out of Humbert to win that tournament. Like he had to beat Dimitrov and Hubie, and those were, I think, those were pretty intense matches.
Okay.
Like not necessarily in terms of physical, like too much time on the court, but it'd be a mental fatigue question for me.
Mhm.
So I'm
I
not
mean,
really interested in him to win the quarter. Um,
I just
yeah,
think
I don't know
he's
if I like.
playing better than besides Hubie, but I think his serve plays down on these courts. And as you said, he's not aggressive enough, so I don't think this is particularly a great week for him.
I
Um,
don't think there's anybody I really like
the
here.
price is close where I would take Humbert. How about Ruusuvuori here at plus 750?
The problem is, I think well, so if you go back to the draw, I think he's
Oh, he
basically a
has to
coin
play
flip.
Humbert. Yeah.
I think he's basically a coin flip against Humbert.
Ooh. So you're probably going to end up taking him plus money.
I don't think it's plus
There.
money. I looked at the line. I think it's basically pick. I think it's basically a pick.
Really? I'm going to
Yeah,
be all over Humbert then. All over
yeah.
Humbert.
I'm not. I'm gonna leave it. But I hear you.
It's
Um,
pick, absolutely. But that surprises me. Okay.
um,
How can he be pick and then be 40 cents better on the quarter price? That makes no sense to me.
well, I mean, that's so I guess the answer would be that like if Humbert's because I think it's like if Humbert actually wins the first match, right?
Hmm.
Then that means he's probably like okay, he's in a good mental place. And
Okay.
like he's down to play this tournament like all out. Um which I think could be the case. Like I don't think it's necessarily like oh I don't think it's necessarily like 100% guarantee. Yeah, it's minus 120 Humbert. Ruusuvuori is even money.
Wow.
Um,
I'm gonna hammer Humbert for like a 2 unit play. Like
okay.
that's not an appropriate line.
All right. I mean, it's tough because like you got the whole, the question is, does he have anything in the tank? Um,
Besides the Gaston match, it wasn't a very like stressful week
it's
for him.
not physical. It would just be the mental. It would be, does he have anything mentally in the tank?
Let up.
And like,
I'm gonna take the confidence angle more than the mental or physical fatigue angle here.
I mean, look, it's interesting, right? It certainly is an interesting thing. It's like, how do you weight that variable? Because like, well, you and I are both going to agree that like Umber's a better player than Ruusuvuori.
Hmm.
The question is, how does he do going, not on the road, but not at home, not at home? And how does he do, coming off of a win? And those are two, significant things that I think are going to,
Agree.
I think those are both not, I mean, obviously it's not good, right, for this match. Like it's obviously some sort of impact. I don't know how much, but it's something there. I think there's some impact there.
Yeah, it's valid.
Um,
Yeah. But maybe the quarter price is not quite good enough. Uh,
I think the thing is like if Humbert wins, right, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, like he's probably good. He should beat Foki or Struff. He should, but then you're thinking of like with Ruusuvuori, it's almost like he's a coin flip in each match, and he's probably a dog in the quarter if he plays either Greek Sport or
so the
Hubie.
rollover is better.
So I think the rollover. I mean, well, I don't know if he's actually a dog. I'm saying in my head. I actually don't know. I think as a betting favorite, he might be a favorite versus Fokina. I mean, look, he was a what? It was like
Two and
like
a half. And
minus
he
180 plus 150 or something a week
right,
ago, right? So
right.
I
But
don't think
he
it would have moved
passed the
that much
spread
because
with
Foki
flying
got him
colors. I
once.
don't think that's a good matchup for Fokina.
Ruusuvuori
No, Ruusuvuori is a tougher match to me than Fokina.
for Humbert. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That's why I think the line is like I think the line is the way it is because like if Humbert wins, and look, he just beat Hubie last week. So like if Humbert wins, he's got a decent his if he wants to be here, that 350 is not a bad price. It's also there's a small chance he withdraws, which is always scary, Like there's a small chance that like after winning at 250, he just bags it for a week and takes a week to rest. You
Possible.
never know.
True. You never know, but then you get the push. I mean,
Yeah, no, but you don't push on if you bet him to win the quarter, you don't get a push on that.
right. So I think the rollover is a better option.
I think
I
you're better
agree.
off rolling it. Yeah,
That's a good point. That's a good point. He might just like wait till like Monday afternoon or Tuesday and then just like say, nope.
yeah.
No. So that's true. All right, bottom quarter here. We got Dimitrov to play Lorenzo Sonego. Then we got Fabian Marjan. We'll play Marton Fucsovics, the Battle of the Hungarians. It's a lot of
Yeah,
green, white, and red in that little section.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Zhizhen Zhang will play Shevchenko, and Roman Safulin will play Holger Rune. Very interesting quarter here.
I think Safilin's an interesting look in this quarter, man.
Agreed. What price do
I
you
think Safilin and Dimitrov are the two interesting looks in my eyes.
Ooh, plus 700? I like that.
Can you go back to the draw? I gotta think about that because, like,
Although the rollover might be better.
yeah, I can't remember what he is against Rune.
It's like plus 125.
Yeah, that makes sense that he would be that, and like the problem with this is like if he should be a favorite against Zhang or Shevchenko though. And then if he plays like this is the problem. This is what you're always winning with outrights, right? Because like if the draw holds and if Dimitrov gets to that quarter,
I don't think he will. I think Dimitrov has a bigger chance of pulling out than Humbert, to be honest. Although
yeah,
maybe
how has
not because
Dimitrov done
Dimitrov.
coming off? But I actually think there's some data here with Dimitrov playing well and then coming back the next week. I can't remember what it's like. I'm gonna look this up. So I looked at this before.
Dimitrov is plus 160 to win the quarter. I don't like that at all.
No, no interest in that
Rune
price.
is plus 200. I don't like that at all either. Safulin plus 700. I mean, if there's anywhere to go, that's where it is. But has Safulin played since Australia? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right about that because there'd be nowhere for him to play.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
hasn't played since the first round, lost to Greek Spore.
But I think at the 7-1, it's not a bad look. I might have to hit that. I've got to think about that. I might have to hit that. I don't think that's a bad look at all.
I mean, Rune is a huge question mark. He withdrew from injury after the the Montpellier semis, right?
But did he play? He played. Didn't he play something?
I don't think so. I mean, that was only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, UTS, you mean?
I thought he might have played the UTS. I'm looking this up to see if I can find it.
After calling it quits against Coric in the semifinal of an ATP event, you go and play UTS?
He may have. I can't
Seriously?
remember. Yeah, he did.
Oh my
Yeah, he
God.
went and played UTS. So you were absolutely right.
That was a
That injury
complete
was
fake
bullshit.
job. That was a
Yeah, just he just
complete
tossed it
bitch
in.
move. He just didn't want to play anymore.
Health first. Health first. 6 days later, let's go play UTS. Like,
That's nonsense.
yeah.
All right. So you're buying my take now that it was
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, he proved me wrong, right? Like,
uh all right. Well, I'm still not backing him at plus 200. That it can
oh
go.
yeah, no way. No, that's a terrible. I mean, that's terrible given the form that he's been in.
Yeah.
Um, it's a tough draw for Seth. It's really tough because like the thing is he's a favorite against anybody else. Like if he beats Rune, which he could, he's a favorite against Zhang or
Chang.
Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Um,
Chang is always dangerous.
Zhang's always dangerous, but he's probably a favorite. If he wins that, he's it depends on Demi. And it's tough. Like honestly, there's actually not a lot of data on Demi. I think it's just
He's had a tough week though. Like that Kachanov match was very physical. And you could tell that there was some fatigue there today against Humbert. He's probably not going to play until Wednesday, I'm assuming.
yeah, I don't know how they I think it might not be until Wednesday. They might give him the
Yeah.
rest.
And then like
When he
Fushevik,
won Geneva, because he won Geneva, which is a warm-up tournament this past year. I mean, look, when he won Geneva, he went to the French and he was fine. I mean, he dudded out in the fourth round against Zverev, but like, I think that was just a random Dimitrov dud. So I'm not. I mean, but
yeah,
there's just not a lot of data there. That's the only data point that we really have.
different. You get every other day, right? Like
What?
you should be fine. I mean, the thing is like Sonego is a really bad matchup. Well, Sonego is a good matchup for Dimitrov, I feel. Because like Sonego is gonna miss a lot. And he's just too erratic.
Interesting. Okay.
Because Dimitrov is like steady. He's gonna keep the ball in play. He's gonna maneuver the ball around the court. He's gonna use
Yeah, I hear you.
slice. And that's a tough matchup. I mean,
What's the head-to-head there? Is there a head-to-head?
good point. Nope. No, I did.
Wow. Interesting. Fascinating. There's no head-to-head.
Yeah. But
Um,
Saffielin is the look for sure.
yeah, it's the look. I'm not sure if I'm gonna hit it yet, but Safiulin's the look.
And then bottom quarter, we got Demonor to play Sebi Korda. Dino Prismic against Goffin. That's my play of the day on Monday. We'll get into that match. Cressy against FAA. And then Zizou Bergs against Andrei Rublev. So going back
What's
here,
Rublev doing the
Rublev is
quarter
plus
here?
160.
160?
Demonor plus 275. So Demonor brushed aside Rublev last year at this tournament in straight sets. I
Which I feel
think
like is just weird. I don't know how much I take into that. I just feel like that's like a weird result because I don't
no,
feel like Demonor.
I disagree because I think that like because it's a slower court, would that favor like Demonor actually likes quicker courts, it feels, but
I would
Demonor
think that would favor Rublev, yeah, because Rublev needs more time to just hammer the ball.
yeah.
You know what? I got a different take on that. Rublev is really bad coming off of layoffs. We've talked about this in the
True.
past, and that was his first match back after the Australian Open.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that was just like
So you
like
don't
that
think it
like
has anything to do with the speed of the court. It's more just a layoff.
I think it's the layoff. Like we've talked about how bad Rublev is. Like not bad, but like he struggles. Like coming off of layoffs, Rublev struggles.
Yeah.
Um,
You think Zizou Bergs could be a danger match for Rublev? Like you might take Bergs to win a set, right?
I've got to play there.
Okay. All
That's what
right.
I'm gonna say. I got to play there.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
I do think I don't think that's a danger match. I mean, he's too much better than Zizou to lose, but I do have a play in that match.
How about Prismic at 16 to 1 to win the quarter?
the problem is with Rublev here. Like, I just think Rublev should smash. Rublev should smash all these guys, man. I mean, maybe not Demonor, but or maybe not Korda. I know we don't like Korda, but maybe not Korda. If Korda were to make it through, like that could be competitive because Korda usually like Korda tends to show up against better guys.
I think Demonor is a tough matchup for Prismic.
But like Prismic has got to beat Demonor or Korda and Rublev probably. It's hard for me to get behind him.
Yeah, probably need a little more. You might get better with the rollover.
I
Because
mean,
he's a dog against
honestly,
GoFan, then he'd be a dog against Demonor, and he'd be a big dog against Rublev. So
I don't necessarily hate a Rublev play. I don't think I would do it. It's like just outside of what I would do. But I mean, Rublev, like, I'm not. I mean, you and I are both, not. This is not a pro FAA, not a pro FAA podcast right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's highly unlikely that Rublev doesn't get to that round of 16, get to that quarterfinal match. And I feel like he should beat Demonor on a slow hard court. Like, regardless of what happened last time here, I feel like he should beat Demonor on a slow hard court.
Yeah, it didn't happen last year, and it's the same layover that he's going through.
But that was his first match back. Like now it'll be the third round. He had to play Demonor in the first round last year.
Fair. I mean, I feel like Demonor has done well at this tournament. I know he made quarters, lost to Dimitrov in the third set tiebreak last year. The year before, he lost in the quarters to Tsitsipas, beat Mackey and Goffin.
So he's been like standard Demonor pretty much, with the exception of beating Rublev, which I have my opinions there.
And Rublev, how is he done in this tournament? It's like a very specific indoor tournament, which is why I'm looking at like.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I was definitely looking at these at previous event. It's up above round. Yeah, there you go. You're right there. Yep. I think he's a former finalist, Rublev. Either former finalist or former champion. I can't remember, like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
13 and
former
6.
Champion. There you go.
Former champion.
Vucevic in the finals.
Interesting.
Vucevic is a guy who's done well here, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see why, right? Like it's a slower hard court, so he kind of has more time to set up his shots, right? He doesn't have to worry about guys blowing.
I also think Vucevic is always injured too. Like he's injured as often as he's not injured. And I think the fact that like he sometimes gets a few weeks off before he plays this probably helps him too. Because I legitimately don't know if Vucevic can play 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. For a guy that like looks like a chiseled brick, I mean, it's pretty alarming how much he's like hurt.
Well, I mean, but that might almost be the problem, right? Like
could be. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I guess you're right. You know what? That Rublev Demonor match last year is just like a one-off. It's just Rublev probably played bad that day, coming off that layoff.
Yeah, I mean Rublev, yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing here. It's not quite good enough on Rublev. All right, let's talk about some individual matchups here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean actually, so I'm
outright.
So I actually do have an outright.
You do? Okay.
The Greeksport, I got it when it was 40-1. The prices continued to drop. But I did take Greeksport 40-1. I know the form is bad, but he's at home. He's been good here. I don't necessarily think a slower court's bad for him because while it's not as good for the serve, it does give him more time on his ground stretch that I think he needs. The fact that he's played center tough in the past, I think gives him hope. 33-1 is probably the line at which I wouldn't do it anymore. It's like right on the line, but I did take Greeksport 40 before. I think I heard he was up to 50 at the beginning. I think he opened at 50.
Yeah,
but
I can't get there.
I get it, but I think if you're gonna play a guy, it's got to be in these outer price ranges. Because I can't hit center at plus 125 to win the event.
No, I can't. No.
And if you're not gonna take, I really don't see why you would I don't know if given that center's in the event, I don't love the idea of taking a Rublev at 750 or a Hurkacz at 900 or Dimitrov at 1,000 because if Sinner does make the final, if they have to play Sinner, they're a big dog. Anybody in this draw. Like Sinner shouldn't lose to anybody in this draw, but I think there's too much of a chance he could to hit him at 125.
I agree, but if Rublev gets there, like, he did force a tiebreak in Australia. It's a different court. I think the slower court
I mean,
probably,
I think he's got a chance, but I think it's like a 25 or 30% chance.
but I'll ride that 750 in the final if it gets there, right? Like,
But do you think he's 50-50 to make the final then? Or at least if you think he's 1 out of 3, he's got to be at least 1 out of 3 to make the final, if not like closer to 40%.
I
I
mean,
don't think so.
if
Like
we think
Demon, I
Roman is
mean,
going to win that quarter, I mean, like, that's, I think
I
if
think
he
there's too
gets
many guys
through the
here who could,
quarter,
I think like I don't think FAA is gonna beat Rublev, but I think he has like some sort of chance. I don't think Rublev's gonna beat or Korda would beat Rublev, but I think they both have some sort of chance. Like when you start multiplying up the percentages, it's probably close. You could probably make a case for Rublev at 750. It's probably pretty close. But yeah, I get the reason why you wouldn't go for Greek Sport because of the form. And he
Mhm.
probably won't do it, but at 40 to 1 to me is just too long of a price to not
Okay.
take it. I would rather have Greek Sport than Struve for Fokina.
100%. I'd rather have Greek sport than Corda, to be
I
honest.
mean, honestly, I'd rather have Greek Sport than anybody than anybody like that's not in the top 8 guys there.
Yeah. I might even put him ahead of FAA slightly.
Yeah. So
But I mean, I do like Ugo, but I do want to see him play the first
I think
match.
you've got to see him play the first match. Plus, I
Yeah,
don't think 16 to 1 is very, I mean, especially given that he's even money in the first round. Like you could do way better rolling over.
I agree. I agree. But then again, if he gets through Ruusuvuori, the books might adjust.
They probably will, but like, and if you, yeah, I think that's the worst price on the board on him on Hugo because like if Hugo wins his quarter, is he really 1 out of 4 to win the event in the semis and finals? I don't think so. Not with this field.
Yeah,
Not
not with
given that he
Sinner and
plays
Rublev.
center.
Yeah,
What?
not with Sinner and Rublev.
Yeah. So I think if you're gonna play Humbert, there's way better ways to do it.
All right. Well, I'm not playing anything on the futures. I think I'm just going to play the Roman quarter 3 at 70.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I've
going to
got to
be
look at that. I think that's a good look. I may end up backing on that.
so. Individual matchups here. So we got Dino Prismic against David Goffin. I am all over Prismic at plus 120. I got 2 units on it already.
Uh,
You
I
can't
get
get.
why. I think I left this. Gotta look at my bets.
I think Goffin, you can argue that that he's in that dead man walking category. Maybe not quite as much as the other guys, but he's approaching that category. Like a couple more bad results, and he's in there.
He is, but then he shows up and like does like randomly okay.
But these courts are going to be really tough for him because it's slow. He doesn't have the firepower that Prismic has. He's not the athlete Prismic is. He doesn't have a big serve, right? So, and Goffin likes a quicker court because he likes taking the ball early and redirecting pace. And he's not going to be able to
Yeah,
do that quite as well. And like the fact that you're getting plus money on Prismic, I don't know. I really like it.
it's tough. It's really tough. Like Golfan, he's just like you just don't know what Golfan you're gonna get on a given day. There might be some value here in Prismich at plus 120. It's pretty close to my like minimum buy point. You know what I mean? On
Okay.
Prismich. I'm leaving it, but I can see the argument for it. This is a tough match. I think this is a really high variance match. Like, Prismich lost a set to or he took a set from Djokovic, but he also got beat 2-1 by Nakashima.
Yeah, that's true.
He got beat by Ramos
Look.
by Ramos Vinolas on a hard court. I mean,
Okay.
like he can be good, but he can be not good.
Because the
Like
last time we saw him against
was Djokovic, and
Rich,
he was really good.
yeah, he was.
I'm leaving it, but I get it. Like I mean, actually, one thing that I'm going to look up now that you bring it up, I just want to look something up real quick. I want to see what is Prismic's record indoors versus outdoors. Yeah, not much of a difference. Yeah, not much of a difference. And Goffin, not much of a difference either. Actually, Goffin since Goffin last 2+ years, 27 and 18 indoors, versus 24 and versus 14 and 20 on outdoor hard. So he does do a little better indoors.
Indoors.
Goffin.
But this
Yeah.
is different indoor court with it being very slow.
It's a little slower. Yeah. Look, I get it. I get the appeal of Prismic. He very well may win. It's just he's too all over the place, and I like the fact that at least Goffin played 2 matches and qualified. I don't know if either win is I mean, beating Barrera 4-2 is a pretty good win for Goffin at this stage, and given like that we're talking about Goffin versus Prismic here, that's a pretty good win. Beating Brouwer at home isn't a bad win either.
That's a good win.
Brouwer's not what?
I think Prismic is on a different level than both of those guys, to be honest.
I mean, it depends. Like, this is tough. Like, I like at his best, yeah, but at his worst, no. Like, like I mean, look, like which Prismic are you gonna get?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get the guy that lost a set to Navoni on hard court, like on a quick hard court, like
Yeah,
I mean, like honestly,
get...
like it's you just don't know. Like he's young and like I get the appeal, and plus 120 is not a bad price, but it's just like
he has some serious upside though.
Oh, 1,000%. He's just a little too all over the place. I mean, like, it's kind of a cool play because, like, if you're going to get in front of the market, like, this is the time to kind of, like, if you're about like buying and selling on players, like, this is the time to buy on Prismic.
Yeah.
And even in this tournament, like, it would be like, if you think Prismic is going to play well, it's a good time to buy. He also hasn't played in a month, so that's the other reason I'm leaving it. But I get the appeal. I don't hate the play.
Okay. All right. I was hoping it would be GBM worthy, but I guess not.
Yeah.
All right. Next match tomorrow is Milos Raonic against Jesper de Jong. I was staring at this for a long time. Raonic is a half a game favorite, -120 on the money line, over under 25.5, which is just crazy. I might have to play the under by default here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is an interesting look. Like the problem is there's just like
can Raonic last 2 sets? That's another thing.
Well, he has, right? Like that's the thing. So like Raonic in this comeback, like he has not been that bad. He's 5-5 since coming back.
Yeah.
So like he's shown like
he took a set off Demonor.
And like like I'm not that worried about the layoff with him because he's playing like once a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a 1 month layoff is like every match for Raonic.
All he does is just go to the line and serve bombs, right? Like that's all he does.
Yeah, he just has to go practice and serve, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically like grabbing a basket of balls and just like serving.
Yeah.
And if the ball comes back, he just hopes for the best. He just like
he just whacks a forehand and hopes. You know what I mean?
Right,
like
exactly. And I don't know if Jesper de Jong can deal with that. I don't know if he's good enough to deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's good enough to break him. Like
I know. But I mean, if Raonic just whacks 3 balls in the court, like I feel like he can break just by like, just smacking a few balls in the court off the return.
Yeah, I mean, I can't play this. I think this is pretty well priced. Like I'm not that high on Raonic given what we just talked about, but then like the under's an interesting look here though.
I'm playing the under. I just think it should be like 23 or 23.5, not 25.5. Like Jesper de Jong is not that big of a server.
Yeah, I get it. The problem is like I feel like the problem is that like you see like a 23.5 versus like a 25.5 and like, oh my God. And in reality, like it's almost like everything over 23.5 is very similar. Because like now you're talking about like the like like a 20, in
Yeah.
order to get to 24, you need 7.5, 7.5. In order to get to 25, you need 7.5, 7.6, which is like an extremely specific score because
Right.
like 7.5 sets are not, I mean, they happen for sure, but they're not
Yeah.
that common.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the less common set scores. So like, yeah,
I mean, that's my favorite line on the board. I'm not like super confident. Like this is not
yeah.
2 units worthy or anything. It's just all right, Greek sport Musetti. Um Greek sport's a 2.5 game favorite, -180 on the money line. Musetti's +150, over under 23. I'm on the Greek sport -2. I got it at -2, not 2.5.
Okay.
Like I think that just like indoor hard courts are just not where Musetti wants to be.
See, I think a slower court's okay for him. How has Musetti done at this event? Because I don't think like I don't. Last year he played Golden Swing, but how did? Well, I guess this is tough. This is tough because like you're not going to get any good data here. Because the last data you're going to get is 2022, and that's kind of like Musetti was not like he wasn't. He wasn't. That's back when he was 20. He wasn't as good of a player. Yada yada. Actually, he was 19 back then
Yeah,
because he played Golden Swing last year.
right.
I mean, there's some data, but it's not very useful in my eyes.
Maybe Hubie here. 22.
Yeah, and he wasn't nearly as good a player back then.
Right.
I mean, I think a slow court. So I mean, based on like, you kind of just go on speculation. I
Yeah.
think a slower court is good for Musetti because it gives it right. It's the reason why he's better on clay. He doesn't get rushed as much.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think this is a bad place for Tyone. Um,
I actually think a slower court might be better for Talon too. Like
I think
not on
so.
the serve, but on the ground strokes.
I think at 2, I could get down with playing it at 2.5 and giving up -125 juice. No way now.
Yeah.
I think
I
at
got that at
2.
-2 at -110.
When did you get it at -2?
I got it yesterday.
Okay, so it had moved to 2.5 by
Yeah.
today. So
And it
I
was
got it
two
before when I looked at it, it was
unjuiced.
like 2.5 -115, and it's crept even since then. That I think it should be 3, but I'm not going to quibble between 2.5 and 3
Yeah,
here.
but you don't want to play Musetti, right?
No, no. I mean, like if this got out, like you would have to get out really far to play Musetti.
What price on the money line would you need to go with Musetti here?
Probably like 2-1 or something.
Okay. Yeah. Have these guys played?
Good question. Wow, how dumb is that? Team and Ho? That's the best name they came up with for team. And the best thing they come up for Holger was the Viking. Like, I feel like they just like if they don't know what to do, they just take the player's nationality. The worst was Yibing Wu being the Great Wall of China. Because it does not describe his game at all. At all. Like
Yeah.
they literally just took like Chinese dude and like threw a Chinese landmark on it. Like
That is a pretty bad.
okay, so 3 years ago in Austria Open qualifying, Greek Sport beat him. I don't put any stock into that. Both guys are a lot better since then. So yeah, I'm not. It's a match I would, like I said, it's there's yeah, I can't. I'm not hitting it. I promise I do have a few plays here. I promise.
Okay.
Because so far I've passed in the first 3. I pass a lot.
You do. Especially, I mean, might be smart first round,
Yeah.
support. Cressy against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Cressy is a 3-game dog, +210 on the money line, over under of 24. FA is -260. I'm on the under 24 here at -110.
I think that could be an interesting look.
I think
Um,
Cressy can break himself. And if that happens, I don't see Cressy breaking FAA. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's
and it's
yeah.
just like it's slower courts. I think FAA should get some looks on return. especially if Cressy, hits a couple doubles.
Yeah.
So that's my play here. Not
I'm passing again.
yeah.
It's indoors, which I think is, helps Cressy because he can, he doesn't have to worry about like any conditions with the serve, right? FA's break game is not good right now.
It's been a
The
little
under's an interesting
better.
play here. I'm close on the under, not quite.
Who did Cressy beat in qualifying here? He beat Rinderneck, which is a decent win actually, and then Lamas Ruiz. Okay. Both won 3 sets.
Yeah, in my mind, this is just like can FAA get 2 breaks? He might only need 1, but can he get
Yeah.
2 breaks? I think he probably can get 1 break.
Yeah. I mean, FAA is 5-4 for the year. His break percentage is 23.4%, which is up from last year, but I mean,
But that's in a limited sample, right? 9 matches. I'm not sure I'm believing that much yet.
yeah,
And
but
who did he
still
play in those
7
9
percentage points
matches?
is quite high. His
It is.
service
Who did he play in those matches in 24 so far?
team Grenier, Medvedev, Kazo, Mayo, Bublik, Halis, Zhang, and
It's kind of an interesting mix.
it's like okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, his serve points one, return points one is about 104.
This so far this year, yeah, yeah.
Here, whereas
I mean, it's
Cressy,
going to be better than Cressy, right? Like, the question is, can Cressy find? But Cressy's played some challengers and stuff too, and a lot of qualifying, right? So you kind of got to kick that out.
yeah,
Like his strength schedule is a lot weaker.
it's
I think 3 is
103.
the right. I think this line is pretty right. Like,
Yeah. I just think it's going to be really hard for Cressy to break here. And I think Cressy might, when you play better players, you tend to press more on serve. I buy that narrative. I know you don't, but like I feel like the chances of him kind of having like a
well,
3
I mean,
double
I think if there was a
game.
guy that wouldn't press, it would be Cressy, right? He's got the same strategy every time. He knows he's going to hit 15 doubles in the match. Like that's his strategy.
Yeah, that's true. Has he been utilizing the same strategy this year? I haven't watched too many of his
Oh, he
matches.
must have, right? Like he's got double fall percentages in the teens.
Yeah,
Like nobody else does that.
right. So I guess he's sticking with his dumb strategy.
I mean, it might be the only strategy he can use, right? Like,
All
I
right,
mean, he's
I'm
not
gonna
a very
play,
good tennis player
no, he's
outside of the serve and volley. Like,
all right. I'm gonna play the under 24. All right, going into Tuesday's matches, we got Fokina against Struff. Basically a pick 'em. Struff is even money. Fokina is minus 120. Uh, I kind of like Fokina money line here at minus 120.
that's where I am. Sean Calvert and I disagree on this because of Foki's indoor record, but I don't I don't know if I put much stock into it. I don't know that I really understand why. But you would think he'd be better indoors, Foki, because like he doesn't have anything to bother him, you know? Um, so yeah,
I don't really think it's an indoor or outdoor problem. I really think it's more about how Foki feels on that day more than
I
anything.
tend to agree. I tend to agree. But to be fair, it should be mentioned that Fokina since 2022 is 4-11 on indoor hardcourt, and that includes his decent performance last week. Um, so that's the reason why the line is where it's at. I agree with you, Manny, which is why I've taken the Fokina money line here. I just think he's a better tennis player.
And I think this, how is Foki done in Rotterdam because of the slow court?
It's a good question. It's worth looking at. I wouldn't think quick courts would be good for Struve. Or slow courts would be good for Struve.
But he does play better in clay, Struve.
Yeah, which is odd.
It's kind of like the same way like Popperin plays better on clay.
True,
You know,
true.
it's kind of similar, right?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Not great, 1-3, but tough opponents.
And he took a set. Look, he competed with Tsitsipas 2 years ago. Took a
Yeah.
set off Medvedev last year. So I actually don't think this is bad.
No, I agree.
Um, beating Ragut back in 21 would have been a good win back then.
Yeah, that's a good
So
win.
yeah, I like Foki here, man. I just think
I
he's a
also think
better
like
like
Foki's gonna have looks to break here.
you would think. I just think overall, I just think he's a better tennis player than Struff.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I just don't think Struff is that good. I'm pretty low on Struff as a player.
Me too.
I'm kind of fading Struff this year, based on his break point. But I think his break point percentage was something insane last year. I can't remember. I'm gonna look it up now. Um,
I tend to agree. I don't think we can make a Foki match in a first round GBM worthy. So it's going to be a 1 unit play for me, maybe 1.5.
okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. But I definitely like Foki here. The
Okay.
under here too could be an interesting look, just because like you never know, like Foki could just mentally just like throw in his toys if
True.
you know if he could just throw the cards in
Maybe
if
1 unit on the Foki money line and then 1 unit on the under 23. That might be the way to play it.
I originally did, and then I took off the unit on the under 23. He could, I don't know, Struff, like I could see a third set happening. Like,
Yeah, true. True. Next match, Demonor against Corda. This is actually one of my favorite plays. Demonor, I'm gonna lay the games, lay the 2.5 with Demonor.
this isn't a head to head.
Demonor won their only meeting in straight sets at the Paris Masters in 22.
No, he will. Quarter one in 2021 in Wimbledon first round. It says they
Oh,
split.
oh, okay, that's wrong.
Um, I don't know, man. This is another pass for me.
For me, it's a pure Corda fade. I just don't like
See,
what I'm
I feel
seeing.
like Porter's becoming more of a dog or pass guy than a pure fade guy.
I disagree. I just think also Demonor is too steady and like Corda is just going through these lulls where he just like can't make balls. Like he can't make
Yeah,
more than 3 balls. Like he's a very low margin guy. Like the ball is very low over the net. And Demonor on this, especially on a slower court, he's just gonna grind him down. I'm all over the 2.5. It's a 2 unit play for me.
yeah, it's probably right at my. I'm gonna leave it, but it's probably right at my buy point.
You're not back
But
in Corda here, right?
no, no, no. But
Okay.
Cord is kind of scary when he's a dog. Like I do think he plays better as a dog.
Not
Um,
recently. Not against who was it?
well, Grigori didn't play well
Dimitrov.
the first set, but the second set was quite competitive. I mean, Porter could have won
Okay.
the second set.
Not against Rublev
Um,
and the Australian. That was straight sets.
True, but there was a tiebreak in there.
True.
Um, so I mean, last year in Paris, he took a set from Hubie. Granted, it was a tiebreak, but he did take a set. He beat Shelton in Shanghai last year, so like,
Okay. That was a pick 'em match, I think, in Shanghai.
yeah, I think
That's
so.
a while ago. I actually think he's playing worse than he was at that time.
I agree, but I also think like I mean, I'm just giving examples of like I think he like can I think he can like show up. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, next match, Coric against Bublik. Basically a pick 'em, and I think this is the pure definition of a total stay away.
100% agreed.
I don't see how you can hit any line and like feel comfortable here.
I mean, honestly, my opinion here was going to be take the plus money,
But there is no plus
but
money.
there is no plus money to take. So yeah, I'm a complete pass here.
Complete pass. I don't think we even have to discuss it. We're on the same page.
I mean, it's
Shep-
just, I mean, the only question there, right, is Bublik going to show, like, because Bublik should theoretically be a favorite. I think he's beaten Coric a few times. I think it's a bad matchup for
but
Coric.
Coric is also impossible to play in first rounds,
They're two, exactly, man. That's my point. Is
right?
like, I have no idea. Like, I think it's completely 50-50 because you have no idea which of these dudes is going to show up or not show up.
Yeah.
So that's enough of that match.
Yeah. I mean, I under might be the play, but like still they played was it two tie breaks in Montpellier or like two tight sets,
I
right?
thought I went 3 in Montpellier.
Oh yeah, 1-3, so it went over, right? So like
Yeah.
if both guys show up, it's probably an overmatch. So you can't really even play the over under there. It's
Yeah.
just a complete stay
Yeah.
away.
I think it's a complete pass.
Yeah, that's right. Coric won the first set and then Bublik came back. Shapo against Monfils. Shapo is a 2-game favorite. Minus 155. Monfils is plus 130. Over under of 22.5. Ooh. The fact that Shapo was a favorite, I think I'm gonna play Monfils at plus 130.
That's where I've gone with this.
Okay.
I think this is pretty close. I think this is similar to the Coric Bublik match
Yeah.
in the sense that like I have no idea if each of these guys are going to show up, man. Like, I guess
Right.
Shapo qualified and Shapo's playing, but like Shapo hasn't played well, I wouldn't say, since his return. He's been really up and down.
I mean, he played
Um,
Gaston for, it just seems like they're seesawing results there, right? Like,
yeah.
but won the first week, Gaston won the second week, and Chapo won this week. Like, um, and then like the thing which puts me on Monfils, like Monfils is kind of a fade right now. He's one of those dead man walking, but I like that he's
Well, I
had good
don't think
results
so.
here.
He's like you don't know. Because like he was dead man wall. He's been like this like stage for like 3 years where he's been like multiple times he's looked like he was dead and then he came back to life. He's like the cat
True.
with 9 lives.
He's
Is
like
he
the
out of lives
greatest
or
at
not?
playing
I don't know.
possum. He's the
What?
greatest at playing possum,
Yeah, he's the possum. He's a
right?
possum with 9 lives. That's what he is.
Yeah.
And like you just don't know. And like some events and some matches, he's just like in a clowny mood or whatever. I've taken him at the plus 130 based on the history that we talked about before, him being a 2-time champ and a 3-time finalist.
Don't you think also from the eye test that this is a good matchup for Monfils? Because like Monfils plays a lot of defense and like loves to just run balls down, and that's gonna like force Chapo to like go bigger. And maybe that should draw some errors.
Maybe. I think Monfils is really hard to predict because then like sometimes Monfils will just whack the ball for no reason too, like. But yeah, I mean, I think the plus money here is looks good to me. So I've gone for Monfils at plus 130 here on the money lines. It's probably my favorite play of tomorrow. Maybe not, or my favorite,
No, no,
or
this is
my favorite play of
Tuesday.
the first. What?
This is
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday.
probably my favorite play. It might be my favorite first round play, which is crazy to say, but
Okay. Okay. Well, this I think is my favorite first round play. We talked a little bit about it when we were previewing the draw. I'm all over the Humbert money line at minus 120.
so I kind of agree with a little bit of your reasoning, but I've played it differently. I've gone with the under 23 at minus 115.
You love your Ruusuvuori unders.
Well, because like either he's having a good day or a bad day, right? Like, I mean, he can play 3 sets also, and you can get screwed over here, but like, so you have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in addition, you have like the Humbert goes down a set, man. I
True.
don't know. Like if Humbert goes down a set, I feel like this is a match where like, and if Humbert goes up a set, right on the flip side, if Humbert goes up a set, then like there's
Yeah.
something to be happy about, and there's a reason to keep fighting, right? And like if he goes up a set and he's here and he's like really like and he's not going to mail it in, then he should win. He's a better player than Ruusuvuori. He's
Yeah.
in better form. If he's not, then he very well could just go out in 2 sets. So I've gone for the under 23. I think I don't really. I mean, I get why, because I guess Humbert's a little more serve oriented, but I really don't see. I mean, I guess actually the reason this would be 23 is because they put it at even money, or they put it at pick. So they've got to think that 3 sets is pretty likely, but I don't.
Tiebreaks are
I think
less
it's really
likely on a
likely.
slower court.
What?
Tiebreaks are less likely on a slower court.
Well, that's the thing, right? But I don't think this is because of. I think this is partially because of serve, but partially because if you put the players at even, right, then you have to think it's more likely it goes 3 sets. Not more than 50%, but you've got to think it's like, you know, more likely than a standard match, right? That it goes 3 sets.
Mm.
So,
You know what? You talked me into it. I'm gonna go 1.5 unit on the Humbert money line, and I'm gonna go 1.5 on the under 23. I like that play. I like your
is the
read.
under? I think the under is a GBM candidate.
I like it. Let's do it.
All right,
Nice. It's an
you
interesting
got one.
look. We can make Monfils
Yeah,
a GBM play too if you want. Although that's kind of risky.
yeah. I think I prefer just doing the under 23 on the. I love that that's kind of risky though. Like if this is gambling. Like we were literally talking about gambling. Oh, that's risky.
Good point.
Like as if there's any not risky picks, but yeah.
Now, this is another one of my favorite plays. I'm wondering if you're on the same page here. I'm all over laying games on Fushevik here at -1.5. We talked about it before. Fushevik has done well here. He's the way more steady player. I don't think Marjan can come up with his like best flashy tennis on these courts. I think that's going to be very challenging, especially versus a guy who just gets a lot of balls back. No?
I mean, Marzan did beat Alcaraz in Rome.
I know, but how often are we
I mean,
going
that
to
was a complete
that,
one-off.
right?
I get it, but the point is, like, I don't know that it matters with Marzan. Like, if he's ripping, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's a court that he can't hit through.
Yeah, but he's very low margin, right? We saw this against Fritz.
Yeah, I get it,
And it's like, when
but
was the last time that he produced one of those performances?
um,
Like, has it been since Shanghai?
probably not really. No.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a solid like 9-10 matches.
I
But
mean, I'm not,
besides being injury prone, he's not. He can play some bad tennis too. I
it's
mean, I think.
interesting.
I think that Vucevic should be the favorite here. I completely agree,
Mhm.
but I think the books have it pretty right.
So Fushevik is interesting because, like, you know how we talk about like with like Koric, for example, never bet Koric in the first round. I
Yeah,
actually like backing Fushevik in the first round and not backing him later.
I agree. I agree.
It's like weird because like winning back-to-back matches for him is very tough.
I agree. And like, I hear all of that, and I think that's all baked in. I think that's why he's a favorite. But I mean, I hear you. Look, 1.5 games isn't a lot, and like, I think it's like if this got down to 1, I would probably play Martone, but I'm just off it. But I hear your point.
I like how they're both Hungarians and like their names are basically flip-flopped.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's just
FM
like
versus
funny.
MF. Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got Dimitrov against Sonego. Dimitrov is a 4-game favorite, -450 on the money line. Sonego is +350. Over under 22.5. It's another match where I like the under, man.
I love Sonego to win sets against higher ranked players. Like he's just a guy that seems to show up like against better players and like find a way to win a set.
I can't get there here. I think that this is a tough matchup for him.
So I was looking at something with Sonego. So since the beginning of 2022, Sonego is 7-21 against the top 10, against the top 20, but he's won a set.
Interesting.
In 11 of those losses. So he's won a set 18 of 28 matches against the top 20 since the beginning of 2022. That's a 60% clip.
That's pretty good.
And it makes sense, right? Like it's not like it doesn't come from any, it's not like it's random. Like the way he plays, like he gets hot for a stretch of time,
And
and then he
can't make.
eventually goes cold.
Yeah.
Given that Dimitrov is coming off of a finals run, and again, like you mentioned, like maybe there's some fatigue, whether it be physical or mental. This could be a spot where Dimitrov disappoints, man. It could be another Dimitrov, dud spot. I actually think Sonego's got a chance here to win the match. I've played to win a set just based on the stats that I just gave.
How
But
about
I
this
think the
one
money
money
line looks
line at
good
plus
too.
225 if you like him to win a set?
But I think he can win the first or the second set. Like against Alcaraz, he came out and won the second set, right? Like I don't think if he like loses the first set, he's gonna be like disappointed and throw in the towel. Like he competes. He's just erratic.
So against those guys in the top 20, how often does he win the first set?
I don't think it matters too much.
It's
Maybe
quite
interesting. Let me
often.
look at it. First set.
He won the first against Zverev at the United Cup. He won the first against Tiafoe in Shanghai. He won the first set against Sinner in Holland.
10 in 10 of those. So in 10 of those 28, he's won the first set. And another 80s won the second set. So it's pretty balanced. I think you could play either.
With Sonego, though, I do like high plus money just because of the high variance.
Yeah. I get it.
Good, it's a good call out. I didn't think about it. I was just more thinking about Sonego on a slow court, very erratic. Like Dimitrov is steady with that backhand slice and like maneuvering the ball around the court. Like just from an eye test perspective, I didn't think it was good. But when you point that out, that's a very interesting tidbit of information. I like I'm gonna play the plus 225 set one money line, I think.
I don't think any of them are bad plays. I think I want to get behind Sonego somehow here. I think any of the plays are fine.
Okay. I like the under 20. Well, then again, if
But you think Sonego's going to win a set, then the under 22.5.
not a good
Like,
play. Yeah.
yeah. What's the 3-set line?
Plus 165.
That could be. See, the thing is, like Dimitrov, like if he could throw in a dud. I'm sticking with the Sonego to win at
Yeah,
least
I was
one.
like pissed that I hedged my Humbert money line today against Dimitrov with the over 23.
Yeah,
If Dimitrov it doesn't feel like being there, it's over.
yeah.
It's over in two. So yeah, I think that's better. That's kind of why I also like the under, because like I felt like Sonego could win this 2-0 as well. You know,
It's a decent hedge.
Jarvis fatigued.
I think it's a decent like hedge. Like I said, I like the Sanago to win a set.
Okay.
But I think
Okay.
he could go decently with different ways with it.
All right, Hubie Hurkacz against Yuri Lehechka. Hubie is a 3-game favorite, minus 240 on the money line. Lechka is plus 195, over under 23. You backing Lechka again, who keeps fucking up your parlays?
No, he's dead to me. But I'm a pass on this. So I want to get behind Hubie. I really do. I think in terms of like the player skill level, I
Yeah.
think Hubie's the right guy to get behind here.
Uh-huh.
The only problem is that prior to that Shevchenko match and the match they beat Sergey Fomin in and Davis Cup I don't care about, Hubie had played a tiebreak in one of the in he had played a tiebreak in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 consecutive matches.
Mm-hmm.
10 consecutive matches was his first match of the tournament. And if he plays a tiebreak, it gets hard. If you think he's going to play a tiebreak, he could cover the 3, right? You could get 7-6, 6-3. He could lose and then get like a 6-3, 7-6, 6-4. But it gets tricky really fast.
It does, yeah.
So it seems so because of that, I'm not on Hubie. I can't, but I can't back Lechka either because he's dead to me. So I'm a no play here. I think this line is pretty good, so I'm gonna pass.
I need a day to think about it, but I would say Hubie minus 3 if I was leaning somewhere.
I hear you because I think like just like if this was in the second round, I would be Hubie minus 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's purely because I think there's something to Hubie start like struggling to start tournaments. And like I think he does okay in the end. He does fine. He wins because like he's got the serve to get him through. But I think he gets better second, third match.
Okay. All right, Sinner against VDZ. Sinner is a 5-game favorite, minus 1,100 on the money line. VDZ is plus 650 on the money line. Over or under of 20 games. So I actually think that this line is accurate. I don't think it's necessarily an overreaction. I don't like backing VDZ. The only thing is that he's home. So perhaps that gives him a slight boost. And like with VDZ, we always complain about his like energy and stuff. So I feel like he needs that boost to play better. That being said, if like Sinner plays his best tennis, like, and I saw a little bit of his practice sets. I know we don't take much stock into that, rightfully so. Like he was hitting the ball with the same venom he was in Australia. Like he's absolutely destroying the tennis ball. And if he keeps that form, VDZ can't do anything. So I'm a pass as of now. How about you?
I've got to play here. So VDZ was pretty competitive in Australia. I know it was a quicker court, but he was pretty competitive. And he served first in Australia, so I think he'll probably serve first. I think Sinner likes to receive. I think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so based on that, I've gone for the set 1 over 9.5 games. And based on it being Sinner's first set in a month, and based on the on VDZ being at home. It's plus money. I probably wouldn't do it at like minus 110, but it's plus money. So that's my play here.
Okay. I Are you sure VDC is going to serve first?
I'm not sure, but he did serve first in Australia.
I'm going to double
So I mean,
check
he's
that
got at least a
Toronto.
50% chance, right?
I'll probably tail you, but I want to double check with Piran. I want to be like 100% sure because if he doesn't serve first, it's going to be 6-3.
Well, it's not going to be, right? Like, I mean, Bodish could hang in there for 4 games. It's possible, but yeah, I hear your point.
You know. Uh, Next match, Roman against Holger Rune. I love the Roman money line at plus 120.
I mean, Rune beat him a few weeks ago. 6-4.
Where was that?
Brisbane. And I think a slower court's better for Rune. I mean, he plays better on clay. So why wouldn't he play better on a slow hard?
I feel like we were on that too in Brisbane. Were we? Yeah, we were.
No.
It was plus
Yeah.
165.
Well, and that's the thing. So this is now going down from 165 to 120 based on what? Like based on what? I mean, honestly, there's nothing that should make they should make this tighter besides Rune changing coaches 30 times, which is like, which by the way, I don't understand that at all. Like, it was absolutely hilarious that like I think Becker left because like they didn't agree on travel. Like how like that can't be the reason. Because like isn't that something you would discuss like up front? Like wouldn't that be the first like I feel like that would be like an NFL player like leaving a team because like he doesn't agree with what he's being paid.
Something is wrong with Rune. He's just very
I
immature.
don't know if it's Rune or if it's his mom. I feel like his mom is too involved. That's my guess.
Yeah, and probably Sissy dad is too involved too, right? Like,
Oh, I 100% agree. Like, I feel almost bad for Tsitsipas, but I if you're asking me for his
yeah,
tennis career, if his dad is too involved, 100%, yeah, he just doesn't trust anybody
100%.
else at this point. But it's not good for his career.
Like
And I think the same thing
Zverev,
is,
with Zverev, it's different because his dad is just kind of like a puppet. He just stands there. I think he has some like health issues and like he doesn't get too amped up or involved. Like I feel like he
yeah,
just sits there, you know? But with Rune's mom and then Sissy they're just like they're psychotic.
yeah,
They're like crazy.
yeah. But
So
like, but honestly, but that's the only thing. Like, how has this moved 45 cents
I
when
still
like,
I'm just I'm on a Holger Rude fade, and the fact that I'm getting Roman at plus money, I
but
like.
based on what? I mean, what puts you on based on losing to Kazoo at the Australian?
It's just what I saw in Montpellier. I know he made the semis. I just didn't like what I saw from him. Like eye test. He struggled against Lamas Ruiz. He like,
He did kind of
you
struggle with
know,
Lamas.
it just was like,
And I guess that would be why the line moved 45 cents. But I mean, I don't
I
know,
mean,
man.
should he
Like,
really be going 6-4 against Michael Moe? Like that should be 3-2 if you're a top 10 player.
true. I guess you're right. I guess he did struggle in Montpellier. I guess that's a good point, but I can't get, I mean, I think this is a pass for me. I think this is pretty close. Like,
And
because I agree, runes look bad,
Roman is
but
by far
like,
is tougher than any of those three guys that he's played. I mean, besides Dimitrov, like I think Roman is the second toughest guy he's played all year.
yeah. I mean, Quartz was having a good week. So I think when Quartz is having a good week, it's probably pretty close. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I just like so I get it. So Rune's played badly, so that's why this has moved 45 cents, but it's also a much better court for I think it's a better court for the matchup for Rune. Um and he beat Roman, like I said, a month ago. And like I don't usually take too much into head to head, but it's hard for me to get behind. Like if this was out at like a plus 140 or something, I'd be on Roman. But at plus 120, it's just like to me, it's just not a good enough price. I'm not backing Rune either, though. So it's not like I'm not
Yeah.
I like Rune here. I just
I don't
yeah.
think Rune has like a firepower edge here either. You know?
No, no.
Like on a slow court, I think either guy will be able to hit through the court.
But Rune's not a pure ball smasher either, right? Like Rune has like a little more like that's the difference,
Yeah.
right? Like Rune has a
Right.
little has like Rune has variety. Like Rune is a really good tennis player. It's just mental.
Yeah, it is. It is
It's mental and it's physical, like with the stamina issues. But
cardio.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like athletic stuff. It's not like his tennis game is better than Roman's. He's got way more
Yeah,
variety,
I agree. Agree with that.
and that should help on a slower court. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
All right.
but I get
Xi
it. He's a
Jinping.
complete mess right now. I get it. Like, so I can understand the reason for backing Roman. I just can't tell you on it.
You talked me into going down on my staking. Like I'm still gonna play it, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do 2 units. I'm gonna do one. No. Zhang against Shevchenko. Basically a pure pick 'em.
These are two dog or pass guys, and so since neither guy's a dog, I'm passing. I mean, honestly, like I think pick is right for this match. These guys are
uh
both like,
I agree, but I'm gonna back Zhang here at -110 because like I don't like what I'm seeing from Shevchenko. I think he's really struggling. I also think Zhang is gonna be way more likely to hit through these courts. And I think if he's like playing decently well, I think he could penetrate Shevchenko's defense.
I mean, all that is it's just a matter of who plays better, right? I think these guys are pretty similar players, to be honest.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Zhang is way more aggressive.
He's probably a little more aggressive, but it's not like Shevchenko's not aggressive himself. Yeah, I think this is a pure. I think this is a pick. I think they're
Yes.
yeah. I don't.
Zizou Bergs against Rublev. Bergs is a 4.5 game dog plus 350 on the money line. Rublev is -450 over under 22. So I'm curious to see what you have to say here because you said that Rublev struggles after layoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of previewed my thing, right?
Yeah, which is backed up by the results.
Yeah. So in his last, I'm counting it up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, no, 11. So in his last 11 time, his last 11 first matches of a tournament, Rublev's gone over 9.5 games in the first set.
Huh.
11 of 11. The last time he didn't was on grass against Purcell at Wimbledon. The last time he didn't do it at a hard court was Doha against Greek Sport last year in that weird ones match where they traded breadsticks. That's the last time that Rublev didn't go over 9.5 games in the first set on a hard court. So based on that and the slow starts we've talked about, there's a few things I like here. I like the over 9.5 in the first set. I think I got it at -110 if I remember right.
Does Bergs like to serve first though?
I
Yeah,
don't know. It's a
I'm
good
gonna ask
question.
Piranha on that.
Yeah,
He has a good read on that. Who serves
he
first?
does. Yeah,
Um,
shout out to Piranha,
yeah.
one of our fans and Discord guys. He has a whole bunch of good tennis stats, including who's more likely to serve first. So that's a good question.
Yeah, he's a pure numbers guy.
But based on the 14 in a row, I've got to go with Rublev with the over 9.5. I also think Zizou. I also think the first set money line could be a good look for Zizou at +240. Based on
Yeah,
what I said.
Zizou, he has some physical issues, like with
He
stamina.
does.
Like
I
he
don't. I
tends
don't
to
want to get
cramp
into
a
him for the
lot.
match. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into him for the match, but I don't hate the idea of getting into him for the first set. He also qualified, right? He
He
did,
did.
which tells you like he's at least somewhat healthy because he's another guy that seems to you never
Yeah,
know
but
what
I
you're
think both were straight sets. Like when he goes 3, he struggles. Like this would be a good LWW match.
It'd be a great. I was thinking that if it was available, it'd be a great LWW match, depending on the line. But yeah, because I think, yeah, I don't. I've gone for the first set, contemplating going for the or for the first set over the 9.5. Contemplating going for the
I know one of our fans, Big Jordo, he he loves those LWWs. I think this would be a prime candidate.
I think so too.
Prime candidate. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I gotta go plug in my computer. But yeah, man, we're 100% aligned here.
I'm not gonna hit the over 9.5 until I follow up on
that
that.
makes sense.
But I think I'm gonna hit the set one money line. I might hit the Rublev over 12.5 here. Even though it's juiced, I like it.
Yeah, I think all those are good plays. Like basically, I want to get down with Zizou in the first set and then get out of there.
And if he
Is my
wins the
overall
first
take.
set, Rublev is gonna find a way through this match.
What?
If he gets through the first set, like I'd hit probably Rublev live too.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're aligned there. So set one money line might be a like just a 1 unit play. I don't want to go
Just a 1 unit play for me. I mean, there's too much of a gap between these guys in skill level.
Yeah, exactly. All right, quick break, and then we'll go to Buenos Aires and Delray Beach.
Sounds good.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. So let's head over to South America, Golden Swing.
Yeah.
Buenos Aires, baby.
This is a really lame tournament, though, to be honest. This is not nearly as exciting as Cordoba was last week, and you'll see why right away.
What, like from a betting perspective, you're saying?
Just from a tournament perspective.
Really?
Well, go to the draw.
All right. So top quarter, we got Carlos Alcaraz. He has a bye. He'll play the winner of Juan Pablo Varillas against Camilo Ugo Carabelli, who qualified. Then you got Andrea Vavasori. He'll play Seaboth Wilch. And then you got Marin Cilic playing Laszlo Djere. What catches your eye there?
Djere can maybe trouble Alcaraz, but I mean, for like a set or maybe he can win a set off. But I think this is Alcaraz. Like, there's nobody's think. Yeah,
Agreed.
he's gonna smash Farias or Carabelli. Like, I don't know if Farias or Carabelli will win 6 games, honestly. And then,
I don't think they would beat Alcaraz if both of them were on the court at the same time.
I mean, legitimately, yeah, I think it would be like 7-5. Like, I think it would be like 7-6, 6-4 if that were the case. But yeah, I don't. Hypothetical new rules of tennis where we can put one. And honestly, I think for this tournament, they should just allow like the loser in the previous round to also join the winner to play against Alcaraz because it's just like unfair.
I mean, Alcaraz hasn't been that good this year in Australia.
I mean, he still made the quarters of the Australian.
He did. For his standards, though, like where he
For his standards, he's been poor since Wimbledon. I agree, but he's coming back to clay now. I don't know, man. Like,
but I don't
on
necessarily
clay last year, he was 25-3. His losses were Nori in Rio, where I mean, maybe he got injured and cramped up. Maybe Nori actually just kicked his butt. You know, either one could be true. Marzan played the match of his life, and Djokovic beat him. Like,
yeah,
but I get it. Like, maybe his form's a little. I mean, maybe the new state. Like, you know, I mean, maybe he does. Maybe he won't have it. But
we had the same question marks about him last year, right? Because he was coming back from an injury leading into Buenos Aires, right? So,
yeah.
And he won the event at the end of the day, right? So
yeah. He only lost one set, and it was Djere in his first match.
Yeah. But Djere has really struggled. He didn't he like retire in the first set after in the first set of his Davis Cup
Yeah,
with
I
his
mean,
injury?
I didn't. What did you? Was there a reason for that? Did you get a reason for that?
I don't know, but it must
It
have
was
been
a dead
something.
rubber.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a lot less concerned about
Okay.
that because I feel
But
like
he
it could
hasn't
have
won a
just
match
been.
all year.
He's also historically been a better clay guy. Like he's been a better. Now I
True.
know last year he started to play a little better on the faster surfaces, but historically he's much better on slower on clay. He was a clay
Yeah.
guy for a long time.
Yeah, Kazuo did go 5 sets with him, so that's not too bad. Shang, that was a 7-6 in the third.
Like I don't think that's terrible for him. It's not good. I would have rather him won one of those matches, but I don't think it's terrible.
Okay. There are no quarter prices up, but
Yeah.
all right, we'll move on. Second quarter, we got Nico Yari. Uh, he'll play the winner of Wawrinka and Kachin. Schwartzman will play Galan. And then RCB will play Tomas Martin Echeverry. Um, so first of all, the conditions, like it's sea level, right? And it's one of the
It's slow. It's
slowest,
slow. It's
one of those
slow.
slowest hard
It's
clay
one of the
courts of the
slower
year.
tournaments you'll get all year. It's a slow clay court tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it tends to be pretty windy, I think, here. Partially because it's on the coast. The weather in Buenos Aires, I believe, is in the 70s all week.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Any rain? I know there was rain last year here.
I don't think so. I think they're actually expecting rain. Not really, no.
No?
No. Maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow, but it looks like in the like I guess maybe so some thunderstorms expected tomorrow morning. They're expecting thunderstorms. But then it clears up by midday. And then the rest of the week is nice until Sunday, which, who knows by then.
Mm.
So no, what temperatures are in the 70s all week. Will be humid because it's by the coast again. Humid and kind of wind is what you should expect to rule the day here.
Okay. As far as this quarter goes, I mean, I don't really like Yari here by any means.
Why not?
Slow courts, no altitude, clay, so he's not going to get as much, from with the serve. I don't know. He was losing to, you know, guys way below his ranking in Davis Cup. I know. I
Yeah,
think
again, Davis Cup is well, wait, did he play Davis Cup?
yeah, he did.
That was back in September.
No, he played just recently. It was
Oh,
on.
that's right. He did play recently and he lost. That's right. They don't
Yeah,
list it on Tennis Abstract, but you're absolutely right. He did lose. I forgot about that match.
yeah. I think
Um,
Yari's due for some regression this year.
I think so too.
I actually, weirdly enough, like Wawrinka in some capacity here, just because like he can kind of stand and deliver here, right? Like we saw him in Umag where he made the final and lost to Popperin, right? But like that's a slow clay court as well. And like at this stage in his career, when movement is not his best, like his movement is quite weak, like being able to stand and deliver on a slow clay court, like he can still hit through a clay court, you know?
Yeah, I just don't want to bet him to win a tournament.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
would
tournament with
say
this many tough guys in it.
more to win the quarter than the you know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know when's.
I'd love to back Echeverry here, but like just the way he played last week wasn't impressive at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Wawa's an interesting look here. How is Wawa?
What's that?
Has Wawa played Golden Swing in the past? He didn't in 23. He didn't in 22. I don't know if he's ever played in South America Wawa, so I'd be a little concerned about that. I don't think he's ever played in South America, at least not in many years. So I'd be a little concerned there about that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's tennis at the end of the day, right? Like,
It is, but it's like a different. I mean, if he's never been to the continent, right? It's a different like different part of the world you're traveling to, right? Like,
okay.
I don't know if it's a huge deal, but I always feel a little nervous backing guys who haven't played in a particular part of the world before.
I mean, I'm sure he's been there.
Well, are you? Like, why would he have been there?
I mean, we can look this up. Let's see.
I mean, I went and checked. I'm not seeing anything. I think before he used to always play all the
Has he played in Rio at least?
I don't think so. No, he hasn't. At least not that I can tell.
No, he's played Buenos Aires before.
Back in 2013. All right. I lied. I missed the 11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago. Made the
But his
final.
first time in 11 years back, I don't know. I didn't even realize they had this tournament for that long, so that's my fault. I know they didn't have the golden swing. They didn't have the whole swing, right? They had like a couple tournaments.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Bottom half. We got Arthur Feast and Dusan Lajovic. We got
I actually don't hate Yari here. Yari did well in Rio last year, and Rio doesn't have much altitude either, does it? I can't imagine it does. It's right on the coast.
But again, he played really well. I don't know if you remember that match against Alcaraz. Like, he played damn well.
I guess it does. It has 3,000 feet, so it has more than. Or no, it doesn't. There's almost nothing. I guess it depends where in Rio you are.
Yeah, I think it's a very hilly city. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends where you are in Rio. I don't know exactly where the tournament is, but yeah. So, yeah, but he played well in Rio. I mean, he played well the whole Golden Swing last year. He played well on clay in general. Altitude, I think, definitely helps him, no doubt. Like, he's a worse player without altitude, but
I just think he's due for regression, and I think he's like a guy you can fade because like people are gonna go off that.
but I still think he's better than everyone in the quarter here. Like, I want to fade this whole quarter. Except maybe
I don't think. Yeah, Wawa and Etch, like I think that they're on Yari's level, to be honest.
I think Wawa was a step below, but it's not that far. I agree. I can see why you'd say that. Like, I would give Wawa like a 45% chance, 40 to 45% chance against Yari.
I'd be like 50-50.
And
Like-
Etch, based on his recent level, I'd probably be like the same. I'd probably be more like 40-ish. Maybe more like maybe close to 50-50 Etch. Probably 50-50 Etch and Yari. And then I've got Wawa a touch below. But
Okay.
it's tough. That's partially
tough,
because
yeah.
we haven't seen him play in South America in a while. But I did want to mention that because I almost took Yari at 16. I think, or I saw Yari at 18-1 to win the event. I didn't think that was a terrible number. Like, at least he's got like the firepower to compete with Alcaraz. He may not be able to. I don't. I mean, like, he gassed out against him last year when they played, but at least he's got the firepower. He's only got to play 4 matches to win the event.
And the physical stamina has improved since then, right? Like, I don't necessarily think the game has, but like the physicality and just like dealing with the grind of the tour has improved.
And like, I think this is a weak quarter, I think, outside of Etch. I mean, I guess Baena can be tough on play too, but like, it's not that bad of a quarter. But
No.
Yeah, but I definitely like Etch. I saw Yari and Etch were at the same odds to win the tournament, which makes no sense to me. Just because like Etch has to win 2 matches to get to that quarter, and Yari only has to win 1.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
I didn't end up hitting the Yari 18-1, but I was close.
I'm not. I'm a little down on Yari, but going to the bottom half, we got Feast against Ljovic. We got Hoffman against Tabilo. We got Diaz Acosta against Altmaier. And we got Frankie Cerundolo as the fade as the seed / fade. So
I'm wondering. There's no quarter prices up, but when they come tomorrow, I'm wondering what Diaz Acosta will be to win this quarter.
you're probably going to get a good number. Granted, he's a dog against Altmaier.
And he's going to be a dog. Yeah, he's probably he's a better rollover guy. So if we're talking rollover guys, I like Diaz Acosta as a rollover guy. I think he'll be better as a rollover guy than a futures pick here, but I like that.
Feast, I think, is a question mark because of didn't he have some kind of injury or illness or something like that, which caused him to like not play Montpellier.
Oh, really?
That's what I thought.
I think you're right. I think he did play Montpellier, but that was.
But like, I'm
2 weeks ago,
surprised why
right?
he didn't play Montpellier or Marseille and decided to come down to Golden Swing. Like, that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
Maybe because he missed those 2 tournaments, he wanted to get some tennis, so he decided to come down here.
Yeah. Or he wanted to get tournament. Maybe the clay is always easier on the body, right? Like, or he wants to get over to Americas because the 2 big tournaments after Golden Swing, right, are Indian Wells
Possible, yeah.
And Miami. You know what I mean? So at least you're on the right hemisphere.
Yeah. I mean, he started
So I
the
can
year
come with a
well
few
in
reasons.
Auckland and Hong Kong. Then lost to Greek Sport in at the Australian Open.
Which I don't think is terrible.
It's not terrible. I don't know. I think Ljovic is live there in that first round match.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think these conditions are actually good for Ljovic.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ljovic to win the quarter could be interesting too. Maybe I got to see how he's done in Golden Swing in the past or if he's played it, but I think that could be interesting. Tabilo could be an interesting pick. He's playing pretty well right now. Unless he played really well in, what was it, Auckland?
Yeah, I mean, won the event.
Yeah, I guess I have to play pretty well to win an event, right? But it's a tough quarter because like all these guys are actually pretty similarly equally tough.
Except Cerundolo, except the highest seed.
But he's the best player, right? He's just completely out of
He
form.
is, yeah, but he's struggling so bad right now.
Oh, I'm not saying I would ever pick him.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that like I've got him as pretty equal to these guys right now, maybe a touch below. But like I have him like a touch below, but not very far below, given again, like how
I mean, Altmaier
like,
was super unimpressive against Coria in Cordoba. He looked
yeah. Yeah.
so. All right, going down to the bottom quarter, we got Baez against Zapata Miralles. We got the Cordoba champion, Luciano Darderi, against Marcelo Navoni. Then we got Sebastian Offner against Federico Coria. And Cam Norrie is he gets a bye as the number 2 seed. So I think Darderi is a fade here just because of how much energy.
Yeah, Darderi's a fade. Darderi's a hard fade to me.
I'm gonna be all over Navoni in that match.
Yeah.
I
mean, I know you don't like Baez's form, but
yeah.
I mean, like who would you pick here? I mean, like I think Navoni actually becomes an interesting pick. Because I can see an argument to fade everyone else. I'm not as hard on the Baez fade as you are, but I can certainly see the argument. Like if you just look at the results, they're not good.
I don't know. I actually might play Zapata Miralles against Baez.
I get it. You'll get a good price.
Yeah. I don't like what I'm seeing from Baez. Like, but
I don't know. I thought he looked good in the last 2 sets against Delray, and he looked really good against Acosta, but Acosta was a little gassed out.
he was gassed. And then I mean, he should be beating Delray. Like, let's be real.
No, I get it. Like the results and like the score lines haven't been good, but like the tennis, like it's been very inconsistent. Maybe is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I
but
kind
yeah,
of like Korea in a way. I don't think he'll get through Nori. I like
I
him
don't know.
against Offner.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that's a good run in Cordoba still, even though he only made semis for Korea. And how much does he need altitude to help him get through? Like, I think he's another guy who's like sneaky better at altitude than not, because he kind of needs like the court to be a little faster to like help him hit through the court.
You might be right. Yeah, maybe Offner will be better here because it's like not as hot as well, right?
Yeah, I mean the thing you have to worry about here is wind more than and humidity more than heat. But yeah,
Yeah. So anything on the outright markets you like? I feel like Alcaraz just kills it. Kills
I
it.
feel like I feel like this is really hard to play. I mean, and like to be honest, I think like Alcaraz is like 50-50 to win the event. That's why when we started talking about the draw talk, I was like, I think it's really boring because like nobody in this tournament should be competitive with Alcaraz.
Right.
Like I think the guy who's got the best chance in this draw of beating Alcaraz, like guys who could beat him, Yari, Etch,
I don't think Etch can.
Djere.
Yari, okay, maybe, but Etch, no.
If he plays well, if he finds his form again this week, I think he's from Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying these are like likely guys,
Right.
like 50-50.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Just
saying? Like
who
I'm saying
possibly
guys who I
could,
could
right?
see winning, who
I
I
think
could see
Feast
what?
is probably on the top of the list.
Yeah, he's probably. I mean, I've got Yari. I've got it Yari, then Djere, then Feast, then Etch. But yeah, I can see the
I
argument
think you
for
have
any
to
of these
put
guys.
Nori in because he beat him in Rio last year. But I mean, Alcaraz was hurt, but like,
But Nori's
do
form
it.
is
We've seen
so
it.
toilet. I guess it looked a little better this year. Maybe Nori could too. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few guys, but again, it's like could. It's not like we like think there's
Right.
any reasonable chance. I can't get behind anybody because like
Alcaraz just kills
either
the
if
future
they
market.
play, either if they play Alcaraz, they're probably gonna lose,
Mhm.
or like they're too much of like dogs against guys starting off. Like I think it's a much better money line rollover tournament.
I agree. I agree.
Like I prefer to play futures when there's like a lot of like unknown in the draw in general.
Mhm.
Like the more chalky you think the draw is going to be, the better off you are just playing moneyline rollovers if there's a dog you like.
Which is why it's a good play in slams,
It's a good
right?
play in slams. It's a good play in tournaments like this when there's one or two guys they're just gonna
Yeah.
like that should just like stomp everybody. Like
Right. All right, individual matchups. So tomorrow we got 4 matches here. Diaz Acosta against Altmaier. So Diaz Acosta is plus 120 on the money line, 2-game dog, over under 22. Altmaier is minus 145.
not a 2 unit play for me. It's a 1 unit play, but I'm on the Costa money line here.
Me too. Me too.
I think he should be a dog, but I think he should be like minus 120 even money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like pretty close to my min buy price, but I'll take it.
I think Acosta, I think it's a matchup which could be good for him because like his lefty forehand is going to go to Altmaier's backhand.
Yeah, but I think Altmaier does okay with lefties. If I don't, you can look it up, and you probably should. But I think Altmaier does better than you'd think versus lefties. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. 38 and 23. It's not bad.
Yeah, Yeah, so I'm but I still like Acosta here. I like him. He's he's at home.
Yeah, beat
We
Gomez.
saw Altmaier last week, wasn't great. Like,
Right.
yeah, I think this is closer to, like I said, I think it's I get I get why Altmaier's a favorite. I think Altmaier probably should be a favorite, but it's a tiny favorite and closer to
Yeah.
pick.
I
Like, I
agree.
can't see how you would ever have I can't see believing that Acosta has more than a 50% chance of winning this match, but I can see how you'd put it at like 48 to fit to somewhere in the 48 to 50 range.
Yeah, I don't like what I saw from Altmaier against Coria last week. So different conditions, but I don't know. I agree with you. I agree with you. Next match is
Yeah,
Cilic.
Acosta is from Buenos Aires. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a plus.
Yeah.
Cilic against Laszlo Djere. Djere is a 2-game favorite, minus 150 on the money line. Cilic is plus 130, over under of 22.5. I'm gonna lay games with Djere here at -2.
That's what I've done. And I would make this GBM worthy.
Two.
And the only reason I say that is that, like, and the great thing about laying games here with Djere is that if there's a retirement, you push.
Yep.
So, like, and like the only reason I can see why Jerry's only a 2-game favorite here is that injury concern.
I'm assuming he's fine. Like
I'm assuming he wouldn't make the flight over if he wasn't.
Right.
I agree. And then, like, because Cilic, since his comeback, he played one match in Umag, got beat. He's 0-4. He was competitive with Struff, Marjan, and Bergs. So, like, I don't think this is gonna be like horrible.
Mhm.
But I also don't like I don't think that's impressive.
No, it's not.
Like Djere, like I wouldn't put Djere as a 5-game favorite here, but I think you can make an argument here for Djere as like if you knew he was fine, I think you could make an argument for Djere as like up to a 4-game favorite here, maybe 3.5. So I'll lay the 2.
Yeah, it's just also the rally tolerance. Djere is just so much better at this point. You know?
Yeah, I mean, but theoretically, I think Cilic has a firepower advantage, or at least did at one point. I just, for me, it's more like
Yeah.
at this stage, at this age, this comeback, I'm down on this comeback. I think he's another dead man walking, Cilic. We didn't
Yeah,
talk about him
I
last
agree
time,
with
but
you. I agree with you.
he's another dead man walking.
Let's make that a GBM play.
All right.
Djere -2.
What was our
Next
other
match
GBM play? What was the GBM play
in Rotterdam.
yeah. Was it the under 23 on Ruusuvuori and Humbert?
Correct.
Cool.
I think we had something else, no?
Did we?
Did we have the Monfils money line?
No, we decided not to because Monfils is too risky.
Okay.
Unless you want to do it.
We have a day to decide.
All right, fair enough.
That match is on Tuesday, so.
Fair enough.
All right. So as far as Buenos Aires goes, Wawrinka against Kachin. Wawrinka is a -140 favorite. Kachin is plus 115 on the money line, over on 23. Wawrinka is a 1-game favorite. I was really hoping to get Wawrinka as a slight dog here.
Yeah.
I mean, we said when we were previewing the draw, I do like Wawrinka here. Kachin is at home though. I think it's accurate. I think the line is correct, so I'm gonna stay away.
I stayed away only because I don't, like I said, I'm like yeah, like this Wawrinka hasn't been in South America for 11 years and versus Kachin at home. That's the only reason why I'm not on this. But Kachin's form has been terrible. Like Kachin had a couple of like, didn't he make the third or fourth round of the US Open one year? Like he's done
Yeah.
some stuff on hard in the past.
Yeah.
And he's just been absolutely awful. He's lost his last 8, and we talked about this back at the Australian, how bad he had been. And now he lost to Ramos in Cordoba, who then turned around and got whacked by Coria.
Mhm.
I'm tempted to play Stan, but I'm just barely off of it. I was hoping to get Stan at like closer to pick, and then I would have
Me
taken him.
too.
But yeah, at this
Me
price, I'll
too.
probably stay
It's too
away.
juiced now. And like I don't know.
You could lay a game.
I could
You know what? That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably lay the
lay the
one
game.
Yeah, but
Yeah. I love having plays in each of these matches, so that's probably where I'm gonna go too. But,
yeah.
all right, next match is RCB against Tomas Martin Echeverry. RCB is a 3.5 game dog. Plus 200 on the money line. Etch is minus 250 and the over-under is 22. I kind of want to play RCB in some capacity here. I don't think the gap is that big. Plus, Etch's form is down right now. I think I'm gonna sprinkle on the RCB money line at plus 200, but it's gonna be a small play. It's gonna be like 3/4 of a unit. I don't think I'm even gonna go full unit on it. The over 22 is enticing as well. I mean, but that's where I'm leaning.
What does Bayern want to set here?
Minus 135.
Probably either. Um. Yeah, I mean, just based on Etch's form, basically based on the form of these two players and how they started the year, but maybe not. Like, it's just the, I mean, like through the Australian, Etch was fine. It's just the last, like, I don't know. Like,
I kind of like the Etch over 12.5 at minus 120.
yeah, but it's got to win a set. You know what? I'm on Baena here in some capacity. Um, Probably to win a set. I just don't see
Even
the
though it's
gap being
juiced.
that big between these guys.
Yeah, but then wouldn't you rather just play the money line then?
Oh, it's two. You're getting 2-1.
Yeah. It's so juiced for him to win a set. It's minus 135. Like,
Yeah.
the problem with Etch is that he's very like easy to read, right? Like if he's struggling on that day, it's going to be very hard for him to get it back. He's usually like if he starts the match struggling, he usually finishes the match struggling. That's the thing what I've noticed with Etch. His play doesn't really vary that much throughout a match. Because he also only has one strategy.
Although ironically, these guys played here last year,
Yeah.
and it was Etch in 3. Etch came back from a set down and beat Baena.
Like I'm not saying that RCB should be a favorite here. I'm just saying like it should be way closer than plus 200, minus 250. Like I think RCB should
I
be
agree. I mean, the debate
if
for me is: do I want Baena to win a set, or do I want Baena to win the match?
the fact
And
that
that's
it's
what I
just so
gotta look
juiced,
at.
I'm going with the RCB money line.
Okay.
And I'm
I
probably
mean, like I
gonna
said, I think it's yeah. I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
hedge with the over too. Over
what?
22. I'm gonna play over 22 as well.
Okay, so you're basically, I mean, you're basically set laddering at that point. Not exactly, but you're kind of doing that. Like,
Or
because if Baena wins one of the two sets,
how about the 3 set line at plus 145?
with how Etch's form has been. But you know what? I kind of like that too. That might be the play. If you want to go a little more conservative on RCP, that might be the play. Is the
Yeah, that's
3 set
only
line?
55 cents off the pure money line.
Well, because they're saying the RCP could win 2-0 also. I mean, Skatov did.
Yeah, I know. True.
But he did beat Bernabe in straights, and then like it's not that bad losing to Corey on clay. This does feel like a 3-setter, doesn't it?
It does.
Like both guys are going to come out and battle.
Right.
You got nothing to worry about there. That'll probably end up being the play. I gotta do some thinking about this and looking at this, but I like buying in some capacity here. I agree with you on that. It's just a matter of which line.
All right, next match is Arthur Feast and Dusan Lajovic. Feast is a 3-game favorite, minus 195 on the money line. Lajovic is plus 160. Over under of 22. I like the Lajovic money line at plus 160 here. I know Tennis Masters on this as well. I don't know. Feast hasn't played in a while. I think there's a layoff concern with him. I would be concerned with layoffs with Feast just because of like how inexperienced and young he is. I think these conditions are good for Lajovic. I feel like Lajovic did well here last year. Lajovic, yeah, he made the quarterfinal here. He beat Alves, Baez, and Carbelli to make the quarters. It's a decent run.
Oh, he did qualify, so he must beat somebody else too. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but no, but I mean either way, it's a decent run. You're making a good point. I mean, Fees does seem to struggle with these layoffs in general.
Also, remember Lajovic made the final of a Monte Carlo Masters 1000. That's a C-level clay event. That's
No, I mean slow
slow.
clay is best for him, right? He needs time, especially to wind up that
Yeah.
backhand. That backhand is sweet, but he needs time to wind it up. So yeah, he definitely likes the slow courts. I think the court should be an advantage for this matchup. Just a little scared. Livish got whacked. Not whacked, but he got beat by Molchan at Davis Cup. And granted, Davis Cup is weird.
Was that altitude?
I don't have any idea.
Where was it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess I'd have to look it up. It was Serbia versus Slovakia was the tie. If you look up, yeah, you can look it up. If you go to draws and results, go to what is qualifiers? There you go. You got it.
It's in Kraljevo, Serbia.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe it was yeah.
Yeah, 630 feet.
It's not a ton. But not none. But not a ton. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you have a day to think about it, but I like it at plus 160.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty tasty at plus 160 as well. Like I think I'm gonna hit it now. Like I don't think like it's tough. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's always tough with Livich because like he's so much better on clay than hard court. So like you really gotta look at clay results.
I just think he has a good track record of slow clay.
He does. He does. I think he's a deserved dog here, but I'm gonna agree with you. I think this is probably the right pick. Is there a head-to-head here? There probably is not.
Probably not. Oh, Feast 1-0. Beat him 5-5 in Hamburg.
Okay.
But that's close enough where it could have gone the other way, right? It's not like it's like 2-2 and it's like a mismatch.
Yeah, I agree with
Right?
that.
Like that's Feast now coming off a layoff.
Yeah. I like the Lajovic money line. I'm with you on it.
Okay. Tennis Master had a write up on it. I read it and I agreed with it.
Do you remember what it said?
Let's pull it up.
There you go.
Didn't expect such disparity in odds, which I don't agree with. I get the hype around Feast, but his recent performances haven't been that great to justify that. Looking at their clay stats of 2023, it's nothing to separate them. Hold, break totals, both sharing 102, and exactly the same with service return points, one totals 102. These two met at the end of their year's clay season, and it was a pick 'em match, 50-50 by bookies, which was a fair evaluation. Feast is more developed now than he was 6 months ago, but an important aspect for me is that Feast has never played in South America, where clay is slightly different to European clay. Knowing that this is a 60-40 match to me, so anything above 2.5 for Livic looks like there's value.
Okay. See, I'm definitely on this Lajovic.
Yeah, I mean, not playing in South America. Like you
Yeah.
partnered up with Wawrinka.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stay off of Rinka, but I will back I'll stay off of Rinka and I will back Lajovic.
Okay.
I'll just go money line here. I don't think there's any reason to get tricky here.
Right. Baez against Zapata Miralles. Baez is a -300 favorite, -4 on the money line. Bernabe's plus 240. Over under is 21.5. I'm on the Bernabe money line plus 240. I'm backing a ton of dogs here, but I think this is off.
Yeah, I mean, backing dogs on slow clay scares me. I think it's the worst surface for it.
Okay.
Usually quicker courts means like closer sets, which means closer matches, which means more dogs win. Um, so given that, I can't get behind Morales here.
I am backing some favorites. I'm backing Djere. I'm backing Wawrinka.
No, I don't think you're intentionally backing all dogs. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I was making a comment in response to you that, like, you have
Okay.
to be careful. Like, usually, so one of the things I'm trying to do on clay this year, I did really poorly on clay last year,
Mm-hmm.
is I'm basically adding like a half a game to all of my thoughts, like just because it's like, especially if it's a slower clay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding like half a game, sometimes even expanding out further the spread, just because I think like game spreads don't mean as much on clay. And even the money lines, I expanded them out a little bit because like I don't I think on clay, like because it's rallies, it's harder to like just like on a fast hard court, right? If you make 75% of your first serves one day, you got a really good chance of winning. Right. And that's a somewhat of like a luck stat because like most guys are really only trying to make 60%. And so like but like some days you're gonna make 70, 75, 80, right? And like if you do, boom, like you probably win.
Right.
Whereas on play, it's not nearly as much like that. You really have to be the better player. Also things like movement and athleticism, which are like, I don't know. I feel like movement tends to be more like if you can move, you can move, right? Like if you can't move, like Wawrinka is not going to come out and have like a good movement day.
No, he just has to hope that he, is able to bomb the ball through the court,
Yeah,
right? And
which I
it's
feel like that's a more consistent. I feel like that's like on clay, right? Like that's a more like if your goal is to like bomb grounders, I feel like that's good. Like you're more likely to either have that in your game or not. Whereas, or you're like, I guess like, yeah, I don't know.
but it's also, are you able to penetrate the opponent's defense?
Yeah.
That's a part of it, right? So, like against Kachin, who's really been struggling, I think that's something you have to consider. If Wawrinka was playing Baez, I'd be like, no,
Like I would be like, I'd be, yeah. But anyways, but yeah, I'm not. I hear you. I mean, if I had to get on somebody, I mean, oof, man.
I mean, I watched that entire Bernabe against Etch match in Cordoba, and like, I mean, I feel like Etch won all the important points, but I felt like Bernabe had chances. Like, you can tell his movement and his game is so much better on clay than it is on
Oh
hard.
yeah, of course, of course.
And like, I think the hard court form, just based on how bad he's been, is sort of baked into this line. So like, obviously Bias should be a favorite here, but I think Zapata should be like plus 180, not plus 240. I think it's like it's a little bit off.
Yeah, what is the bias over 12.5 line here?
Minus 105. That's a decent look.
I think
That's
that's the look.
That's a good look.
I think that's the look. Now the problem is you could, if Baez loses in 3, you might not get there, but
That's a good play. That's a really good look, Brad. I think I'm going to be
that's
on that.
my play. Because again, I want to get with Zapata in some way, but
I mean, you're kind of getting on him by
no,
doing
I
it,
am. I'm
right?
getting into win 5 games in a set.
Yeah.
I'm getting with him.
Yeah. I think I'll play that. That might be GBM worthy too, man.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, that's why we talk through these, right? Because like
No, it is. It is. We both bring like interesting points to the table. Because you're right. Like it's not. Yeah, yeah.
all right, Offner against Coria. Offner is a 1-game dog plus 110 on the money line. Coria is minus 130. Over under is 22.5. This is a tough match to cap. How did Coria do after making the final in Cordoba last year?
I don't think too well the rest of the Golden Swing, if I remember right. You can look it up, but I don't think too well the rest of the Golden Swing. Yeah, first round he was out. To the bottom
Lost
there.
to
First
Diaz
round.
Costa.
Yeah.
Oh, and he didn't play Rio or Santiago.
Yeah.
Oh, he went on a massive losing streak after that.
Not massive, right? I mean, there's hardcourt in there, which he's never going to win on. And then he took a retirement, so it was really like 2 or 3 matches. Not as bad as it looks.
Well, his ranking has gone down since last year too. So
Yeah, it's amazing that he was in the top 50 after that Cordoba
yeah.
run.
Um,
Yeah, what's the what is the spread here?
1.
And Corey is the favorite. You've got to think Offner's better than what he played, right? Like,
Well, the loss to Darderi doesn't look quite as bad anymore, but given he was a defending he's champion.
it
I
was
mean, it's
lovely.
still bad. It's still bad to lose love in 3, but
You know, I kind of want to get with Offner here.
I think this
I
week
think
is
I'm
going
going
to
to
be
get with
better for him.
Offner and just play the money line. Like, because like, look, that could be like first match in South America. You know, that could be
I want to see when this match is played, and I want to see the conditions. If it's hot,
well, it's not going to be. The weather's like in the 70s all week.
is it damp? Is it like
It's
sunny?
damp. I mean, it's hot, humid. Well, hot, humid, and I think either sunny or partly cloudy. But there will be some sun.
But how hot?
Mid-70s Fahrenheit. It's like 70 to 77 all week.
Pretty pleasant. See, like
Yeah.
when he played Darderi in Cordoba, it was like
It was hot.
It was 98 degrees.
Yeah.
It was the first match on.
Yeah.
Like in altitude too, right? Like that's I actually think Coria there might be a let up spot after the Cordoba run.
Like the only reason you're backing Coria here is because of the kid, because he's at home.
Yeah.
And because you're fading Offner in South America. That's the only reason you can back him here. And that's the only reason this line is where it's at. Like if this match is in Europe, this is Offner minus like 2 or 2.5, Offner minus 3.
I'd agree with that.
I don't know, man. Can it really be 4 games because it's on a different continent? Like I'm on Offner money line here.
I gotta think about it, but yeah. Seems decent.
There's no head to head, is there? I don't even know if I could care if there was, but
Coria's 1-0. He won in Austria Futures.
2015 though.
Yeah. It's a long
9 years ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. All right.
Back when Core was a wild card into the futures. I think, or maybe Offner was a wild card into the futures, but like that's how long ago it was. Like,
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last match on the
Humph-
board here: Hoffman Tabilo.
Yeah.
Estilo.
I know Tabilo, he didn't play in Cordoba, and then he's coming off a surface transition.
But he did play recently because the reason he didn't play Cordoba was because of that crazy Davis Cup.
Yeah. But I actually think Tabilo is better on hard.
I don't know if I would agree that he's better on hard, but I will agree with you that he's certainly more of an all quarter than most of these South Americans.
This seems like 3 sets written all over it. Problem is that it's 125.
Yeah, I don't like that as much.
I mean, that's
There's no altitude here. Otherwise, I'd like Hoffman a lot more. Plus, I really don't know how good Hoffman is. Like,
you had him in your top, what, 15 in power rankings, like before
which was dumb. That was dumb. Like, I am like those power rankings. Like, I want to go back and rewatch those and watch how many dumb takes I had. Like, I also have Fokina in the top 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you out on it.
Like, I think I had Fokina several spots above Sinner. But Sinner did lose early. Like the Sinner one wasn't the problem. The Fokina one was.
True. Good point. Good point.
But Fokina was 7. Hoffman was like 15. It was pretty bad.
You had Cecchinato in there too.
Yeah, Cecchinato was like, no, I didn't have him. I had him as honorable mention. Yeah, I don't know. It was. There's a lot I learned in the past 8 months on this betting. Let me put it that way. You know what I mean? Like you learn
You learn a lot.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like
right.
You know, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like
this is a really tough match to cap, man. This is really
well, it's tough because Hoffman was so good. So on the clay last year, in the past year, Hoffman's was 31 and 14. And that includes him being only 6 and 4 in his life. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But he did not look great in Cordoba. He was fine on last year's Golden Swing. He made well, again, it's the altitude, you know? But he was competitive with Cerundolo, and Cerundolo was playing well back then.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
It's tough. It's a tough match to cap. I
Hoffman's the favorite.
slight -120 to even money.
Probably pretty right. Like, I have this as probably being closer to like well, yeah, I might have this as being closer to like I'm gonna pass, but it's not. I don't think it's like it's like right at my minimum buy point for Hoffman. It's tight.
Okay. I'm gonna probably play the 3-set line, but not with high confidence. So
Yeah.
all right, it's getting so late. I'm really tired. So let's
All
just
right.
quickly skim through Delray Beach. Did anything like catch your eye in Delray Beach? Have you taken
So honestly, I have very little in Delray Beach. So when I looked at
Okay.
Delray Beach, there weren't any quarter prices out yet. In terms of the outrights, I mean, I can't really get behind anybody here. I don't have a player on the outrights because when I was looking at it, like, um, Fritz at 225 is just not interesting to me. I think he's just hasn't shown that he's like miles better than everybody to be worth that much of a
Yeah.
price. Paul at 550 would be really good, but
He just
he's
won Dallas.
yeah, so I'm a little worried about that. Plus, this is the one last year where he had to go watch celebrity basketball. Granted, his boy Tiafoe is not playing, but like,
I think
it's
Tiafoe
more
should
the Dallas
focus.
thing.
He should focus on tennis, not basketball. Let's
Tiafoe,
yeah.
yes. Paul lost match last year to focus on celebrity basketball. Tiafoe needs to do a little more focusing on tennis and a little less focusing on basketball.
A lot
Manarino is
more focusing on tennis. Tiafoe was god awful.
yeah.
He was terrible. I mean, I know Jerome played a hell of a tournament. Let's give him
No,
props.
Tiafoe was not good in that match against. That was not acceptable.
That was not acceptable.
That first set was a complete tank job.
Yeah.
Manarino at 11-1 is interesting, I think. One thing we do have to talk about here. So this is also a slower hard court.
It's like the week of the slow courts.
Yeah. This is a little slower. It's also super windy here because it's on a beach.
Yeah.
Hence the name, one of the things I've learned with tennis betting is that towns that have the name beach in them tend to be near the coast. Good, just some good learning, some good knowledge.
78.4% service holds. 70.7% points won on first serve. It's similar, very similar to the Rotterdam stats.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Yeah, yeah. And I think the wind plays a factor here. It's a very windy tournament because it's on the beach.
Yeah, the wind could.
Conditions are expected to be pretty pleasant, but again, it's humid and windy.
Right.
Because it's in Florida. Yeah, so in terms of the draw, like, I mean, Fritz is a deserved favorite here, but I'm not backing him at 225. I just think like Arnoldi's got a shot if he plays him. I mean, not a good shot, but some sort of shot. And then like he's not head and I mean, like form wise he is, but like he's not. I mean, if Tommy Paul is like I think Paul like he's gonna have a few off days. If Tommy Paul is like up for this event, he could give Fritz a run. That's a close match.
I agree with you, but I also think it's going to be tough for Paul to adjust because he's going from indoor to outdoor. Plus, he's going from a really fast hardcore to a slower hardcore. Dealing with no wind or anything like that, and then like
but who's his first round opponent?
Tommy Paul.
Yeah,
he's the 3.
Michelson or
That's
qualifier.
Michelson.
Like,
okay, yeah, fine.
Like Michelson, I would like I like Michael. Like Michelson's a good player, but he's good against like he's kind of like Manarino, where he's like good against like players at his level or below. I feel like when he gets above against these like tougher players, he just gets like outplayed.
I think
he's kind of limited.
Evans or Thompson could give him some trouble.
I think Evans is a really good look, or not. I mean, I think so. I didn't back it, but I think Evans is a look. Yeah.
Thompson, I mean, I like the way he's playing. I just think he's better on a quicker court.
I think this is too slow for him, and also I don't think the wind is good for him. He like stuff can get in his head.
Agreed.
Kecmanovic was a finalist here last year.
Well, actually, it's a really good court for Kecmanovic.
It is. He's only 10-1 to win the event, which for me isn't good enough.
It's not good enough. I mean, I'd like a quarter price on him because
especially given he's the 5th best player. Like he's like if he plays Mannarino, he's a dog. If he plays Fritz, he's a dog. So
but this is not a good court for Mannarino.
What?
This is not a good court for Mannarino.
It's not. It's not.
And wind is not good for Mannarino because like it's like a flat shot, right? So it's low.
Yeah, you're right. The wind can blow the ball around a little too much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, you're right. So
Spin
I'm,
is usually better,
giving that
so.
him off, and that's why I didn't play Mano. But he is 11-1. I think it's a decent price.
If I got like 4-1 for Kecmanovic to win the quarter, I'd probably hit that. Or 3.5 to 1.
Well, he's 11-1 to win the invite, so I don't think he'll be that. But Yaron is interesting. He was 16-1. I took a look at that, but no.
Yeah, that's a tough long week. Like,
yeah,
it's not necessarily a
Shannon
tough
is 22-1, and he's got a pretty good draw. But
what's the
again?
heat?
I didn't take it.
But the heat is a question mark in Delray Beach.
It's only in the 70s. That's not too bad.
Okay, I mean, I think it's a rollover spot because like he's going to be a dog against Tiafoe.
It all depends on like if Paul makes it through his quarter and Fritz makes it through the top half. That's the thing in terms of if you want to roll it over or not.
I really wish Arnaldi was in a different quarter than Fritz is because like that would be a guy I would like to hit on the outright.
Yeah, I agree. But the problem is all these guys are like 10 to 20-1, which isn't really that much of a long shot. Not with like the number of like decent looking / playing Americans in this draw.
I mean, Fritz at plus 225. I mean, you always bring out how well he plays in America.
Yeah, it could be
He's
a good
defending
look. I mean,
champion here.
he's a favorite against all these guys, right? Like,
I mean, it's not the easiest draw.
well, but it's not bad. Like, he's got Kopfer or Borders in the first round. Like, who's he got in the quarter?
Either Rinky or Arnaldi.
Well, Rinky, this is if he plays Rinky,
Yeah.
he'll kill Rinky. So that would be fantastic.
Right. I mean, Brody, Nishioka, Arnaldi. Nishioka.
It's really the only one that's scary there at all is Arnaldi, I think.
I mean, he had to withdraw, right? In against Monterino, right? So injury question mark with Yoshi.
Yeah.
And then in this quarter, I mean, I think Jerome, but like again, Jerome, that could be a fade spot against Nava. I'd want to see Jerome play a match before I start backing him.
Yeah.
Coming off that final appearance, like and it's changing conditions. I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain that level. Kecmanovic is a good look. It's really tough to hit a quarters here. It's really hard.
I mean, hitting outright, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the big problem that I have is that, like, in my mind, Tommy Paul is the look. But, like, you don't know what Tommy Paul you're getting.
It's such a change, though, for him. I can't get there. I
can't get there either. But I'm saying, like, if you could, like, based on the draw, etc. I agree with you. Like, I'm not hitting him because of that.
Right.
But if you didn't have that, he would be a hit.
Okay. Fair.
Because he's the one with the weak draw.
Right.
I mean, Thompson's not a weak draw. Like, Evans isn't that weak, but it's not terrible. And to play Michelson in the first round and then if you look at the bottom quarter, there's nobody there who should be competitive with him. Like,
no.
Like, Tiafoe's just so, I mean, if Tiafoe's in form, maybe, but he's so out of form, like, yeah.
The bottom half is weak.
Yeah. Which is the problem, right? Like,
what's the bet for the top half to win the event?
Minus 130 only. The problem is if Paul does play D, like if Paul makes it through,
But that's
Then
the
he'll be
only threat.
adjusted.
If he loses, then you're sitting pretty.
Unless Fritz loses, then it's just open, even money.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I don't have anything here. I thought that was my thoughts. I thought through it all, but I ended up on nothing. $225 is just not a high price. Like in order for like 225, like even if you think Fritz is like 70% good to win each of the 4 matches,
Yeah.
it's not good enough. And I don't think he's that much better than 70% against like Mio on this court where it went 3
Yeah,
sets in the
Mio
final
could beat him.
last year.
Mio beat him
What?
in like Miami a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's much better than. I mean, he's not. I don't think he's better than 70. Like, is he that much above 70% against like an Evans or a Tommy Paul? I think definitely not Paul. It's probably around 70%. Like, it's probably
yeah.
close for Fritz. It's probably not a terrible price to 225, but
I wish Arnaldi was in that bottom half of the draw. I would totally back him.
yeah, but at 20-1, it's tough with him being in the top half.
I know. Yeah. All right. Not on anything here then.
All right,
Anything
we're
in
going A1.
the matches that catch your eye?
So the only one that I have one I really like here, and it is Tom Evans at plus 135 against Thompson on the money line. I like anything about adjustment you would say about Evans, you have to say the same thing about Thompson, right? Like,
Yeah, but Evans didn't play Dallas. He didn't play last week.
but he did play Davis Cup. I didn't I don't think he did. I think you're right. I think it is yeah, it's a month layoff. I mean, that's what, but really, like plus 135 on a slow hard court, Evans at plus 135 money line against Thompson. Like he's the better player, and it's a better surface for him than for Thompson.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I can't get there because of the Evans layoff and like Thompson has looked really good. Like I know it's different conditions, I get that, but like his form is pretty high.
I mean, I guess.
So I really like Taro Daniel against Duckworth. I'm gonna probably lay the 1.5.
I was close on that one, but I ended up not. Like, I just don't know how good. Like definitely Daniel. Like, it's close. Um, it's close.
I like Kipson to win a set against Kecmanovic.
Oh, I don't. Kipson has massive indoor outdoor splits, and not in the way you want for this match. I'm gonna get you the stats.
Okay. So Kipson, you're saying Kipson is way better indoors?
Yep.
Huh.
Kipson indoors the past 3 years, 21-9. Outdoors, he's 25-21. And that's almost entirely like challenger level and like,
Right.
slam qualifying kind of stuff. Like Cleveland is an indoor. That's why when I started looking at the that's what made me look it up. Cleveland is an indoor event. Champaign is an indoor event. Charlottesville's indoor.
Interesting.
The only place he's really had success outdoors is in Cary, and that is basically and he grew up in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So based on that and Kecmanovic being a finalist there here last year, I'm a pass.
Okay.
Yeah. My only play was my only play was the plus 135. Oh, the other interesting match here was what was interesting? Maybe not.
Arnaldi -2.
No, I think it's about right.
But the Yoshi injury concern. So I might actually play the Arnaldi
Yeah.
line on a book which pays out for retirements.
That could be good. Maybe. And
This
with
is
the way
this,
Yoshi loops the ball, the win should be bad for him. When's the last time Arnaldi played though? He hasn't played in a while, right?
probably Australian Open.
Yeah, so like that's what kept me off that. It's the Australian Open. I looked it up.
Yeah. I mean, this
Yeah.
is a really tough tournament to bet.
Yeah. Rinky versus Brody. I think Brody, like that match in my mind should be a lot closer, but I think Brody's coming off an injury, which put me at which is why I didn't back it, but
How about Kopfer and Borges?
I think that's right. Like I want to fade Borges pretty hard. I really don't think he's that good.
Me too.
But Kopfer, like, is Kopfer that much better? Like I think this line is pretty right.
Yeah, and Kopfer also has to adjust from those conditions in Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think um I think the market is readjusting to Borges. Like I don't think they're giving him the same respect
Which is
as
disappointing. I was hoping they would. I was hoping the market would have more respect for that Borges run, but they don't seem to be.
Nava set one money line might be a interesting low. Oh, it's only 175. I was hoping better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably stay away because we got to see what kind of Giron shows up. Like if Giron,
It's also, I think it's priced like I think it's priced with that somewhat in mind.
yeah, I know. This is really tough. This is a really tough tournament to bet.
Yeah.
But how about
Yeah,
let's get
Brody didn't play the Australian for some reason. I don't remember why. He had to pull out with an injury of some type. Because otherwise that Brody plus 2.5 would be like that's the only reason that could possibly be there because Rinky those guys are pretty close. Like on a slower hard
Yeah.
court, like those guys are pretty close in terms of skill level. In
Right.
general, those guys are pretty close. Like Rinky's not that good.
No, he's not.
He's fun, but he's not that good.
And he competes hard.
Like I said, he's fun, right? He's a guy like you want to back. Like I like
No.
rooting for Rinky,
Me too.
but it doesn't mean that he should be a 2.5 game favorite in standard conditions versus Leon Brody.
Yeah, I mean, although Liam Brody is not.
I don't like Leon Brody either, but like
I think Ricky needs a quicker court though, so I'm not gonna get
that's
there.
my point. Yeah, yeah. I'm not on that match. But it's one that I thought was interesting because if Brody had played the Australian, if he didn't pull out of the Australian with an injury, I would be on Brody there at plus 145. I think that should be like no injury, that should be closer to pick, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
That's
Well,
only just the one bet. Just Evans on the
one
money line,
bet.
35.
I think I'm on the Vukic -2.
I can see an argument for that, especially because Lashen likes to get, like he's a threat to he's always a possibility to go away.
Yeah, injury threat. I think Vukic -145 on a book that pays out for retirement is a good look too.
That could be a good look, yeah.
Um,
I mean, honestly, Lashen's always a decent look to play the LWW against. If there's a book that had that for first round matches.
Good point. I think I'm gonna be on something Kopfer anyway. I think I'm gonna lay the 1.5.
Okay, yeah, I can't get there. I think that
I'm definitely on
it's more-
Tarot here. Giron Nava, I'm staying away. I was gonna play the Kipson plus 1.5 sets, but like you've spelled it out for me. Like I'm gonna cash out there. Yeah, and I'm gonna play the Arnaldi -2 as well.
Yeah, I was gonna play the Kipson also. I had
Yeah,
and then I
okay.
looked at the
Yeah, good
stats and
call.
what?
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was watching tape, and like all the tape I was watching was like indoor tape, and I was like, "Why is this all indoor tape?" And then I looked up the result, and like that was why.
Because he
I was like,
loses right away in outdoor. That's funny.
I mean, or in the first or second round, right? He's got more. I guess like I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, you know what it is. You with the challenger highlights, you see more later round stuff, right? So like,
Right. Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for the 3 tournaments this week. We'll be active on Twitter as we always are. We'll be active on the Discord.
Yeah.
Exciting times, right?
Exciting times.
Yep. All right. Best of luck on your bets. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.